step into the day with the dawn ringing in my ears. Oh, I tune into my TV show. No better way, I gotta get myself into gear. Let's go. Oh, and I feel good today with my wake up in the morning Expresso. I feel good today. It's my feel good breakfast show.
Feel it, it is here, it is 6 o'clock on a Thursday morning. Welcome to it, your Feel Good Breakfast Show right here on SABC3. My name is Jamie Lee Domberg.
Kamalam Gukusha Adams, and it feels so good to be in your company this beautiful Wednesday morning. I was about to say Thursday, I'm ahead of myself this morning.
No, wait, is it Thursday?
It's
Thursday.
Wednesday, Jamie Lee Domberg.
Sorry,
come on,
guys.
okay.
I'm a day ahead. I'm already feeling the weekend vibes. I don't know why I feel like it's Thursday today. I'm sorry.
Because it's all about good vibes here on your Feel Good Breakfast Show. Listen, we are on day 100 and something of the national lockdown, and I'm pretty sure that it has caused our daily routines to take a massive shift. And one of those aspects, is our sleep has been truly affected, particularly because also the kids now are at home and they are being homeschooled, they are staying indoors, they are quarantining with their family. So it's only normal that their sleeping patterns have been out of shape as well. So if you are struggling with this at home, fear not, because we have something special for you today.
Absolutely. That is something I'm going through now with Luca, just transitioning him to a good sleeping pattern. Now we have Managing Director of Good Night, Yolandi Becker, who's here to help us. Now, if you have any questions, comments, even some feedback of how you got through it, mamas, papas out there, please do give us a call now on 021-110-5552. We'll be answering all your questions, engaging with you on our social media platforms as well. And again, Yolandi Becker is here to answer anything. We are in a good spirit. I hope the boys are in a good spirit. Good morning, boys.
Good morning. Very good morning, in fact. A little bit tired because my little one didn't sleep last night, actually. So can't wait for that phone in. So please, guys, give us a call if you've got any questions. But Graham Richards reporting for duty, ready to make soup, dude?
Yeah, we're making soup, we're making magic in the kitchen. Of course, we're asking you viewers at home, considering the season, considering those winter blues, what's your favorite soup dish? How do you like to make it? And of course, what do you like to have it with? I know, Graham, I cannot resist like a fat, beautifully golden brown toasted roll with some melted butter.
More butter, more better. Completely, man. I like a roasted tomato soup. Like I'm an old school kind of guy like that. But you got to have the bread with the butter to go with it, to dunk into it, where you actually don't even use a spoon. You just use your roll to scoop it up. But we're going to get you inspired with some beautiful winter warmers this morning. We've got some great soup recipe ideas to give you. So why don't you give us a few as well? Inspire us with those winter soups that are your go-to over the cold winter months. And we know that it's getting very, very chilly. So we'll get a full update on the weather front in just a moment. But right now, let's bring you up to speed with the news of the day.
It's about 3 minutes past the hour. Let's take a look at those news headlines. On the national news front, the academic year in the higher education sector will probably only end in March next year, the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Bladen Zimande, said yesterday. He added that his department's budget will be cut just shy of 10 billion rand. Some 5 billion of this figure is reallocated for reprioritizing expenditure towards COVID-19 activities. Meanwhile, the Gauteng Education Department has warned parents not to wait until the last minute to apply for grades 1 and 8 admissions for the 2021 academic year, as it closes on Friday. Now, the United Nations Human Rights Council has appointed Dr. Tlaleng Mofokeng, popularly known as Dr. T, as a special rapporteur for the right of enjoyment and attainable standard of physical and mental care. Mofokeng will act as an independent expert to examine and report back on the country's human rights. This is the first African woman, she's the first African woman from South Africa to be appointed to this position. And the International Relations and Cooperation Department said, apart from flying the South African flag high, this is also an opportunity for her to continue her advocacy. On the international news front this morning, the British Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee says Russia meddled in the 2014 Scottish referendum, and the British government failed to ask for a deep assessment of possible Kremlin-directed interference in the Brexit vote. There has been credible open-source commentary suggesting that Russia undertook influence campaigns in relation to the Scottish independent referendum in 2014, said the report, which was completed in March of 2019, but shelved until yesterday. Tuesday. The report cast Russia as a hostile power which posed a significant threat to the UK and the West across a range of fronts. In other news, 7 Chinese nationals and 2 Malawians were jailed in Malawi yesterday for 7 years for illegal possession of ivory, rhino horns and pangolin scales. The 9 were part of a group of 14 people who were detained last year after arrests during police raids. Malawi's Director of National Parks and Wildlife, Brighton Kumchedwa, said that the successful prosecution of the 9 people was a victory for all Malawians. He said the country was, quote, no longer a playground for people who exploit our natural heritage, damage our economy, incite corruption and pose a risk to the national security. And now news concerning one of the most remarkable youths of our day. Greta Thunberg, the Swedish environment campaigner, has been awarded a new humanitarian prize worth 1 million euros. The 17-year-old founder of School Strike for Climate won the inaugural Gulbenkian Prize for Humanity. Judges described her as, quote, one of the most remarkable youths of our day and highlighted her charismatic and inspiring personality. Thunberg said she will be donating the prize money to charitable projects that are combating the climate and ecological crisis. Apart from being Time Magazine's Person of the Year in 2019, Thunberg has in the past been nominated twice for the Nobel Peace Prize. The Gulbenkian Prize, which will be awarded each year, aims to, quote, recognize people, groups of people and/or organizations from all over the world whose contribution to mitigation and adaptation to climate change stand out for its novelty, innovation and impact. And now taking a quick glimpse into the world of entertainment. Taking a moment to fanboy over one of your favorite celebrities is not above anyone, even if you're a member of the royal family. Well, Jamaican reggae musician Shaggy recently revealed what a member of the British royal family did when they met him in Jamaica back in 2012, and it was none other than Prince Harry. Shaggy revealed that when the royal was in Jamaica visiting the Bustamante Hospital for Children, he met up with Shaggy and his daughter, who wasn't impressed when he didn't ride in on a horse like in her storybooks. Unperturbed, Harry bust out a few bars of Shaggy's biggest song, It Wasn't Me, and the fact that he's a fan delighted the rapper to no end. Shaggy went on to share how he played at the Queen's 92nd birthday party in the Royal Albert Hall and pondered how awesome it could have been if she'd called him by his nickname, Mr. Bombastic. Well, on that note, that's it for the news at 6 o'clock. We'll have another report at 7 o'clock. Right now, here's a first look at the sporting headlines with Graham.
So the word bombastic certainly rings true as we kick off our news with rugby this morning. Saru CEO Yuri Roo yesterday addressed the media and said that SA Rugby is certainly considering other options after New Zealand Rugby announced a new model for the Super Rugby competition, which excludes the South African teams and Argentina's Jaguares. Their new tournament would likely only feature New Zealand and Australian sides. Roo also added that South Africa was not kicked out of Super Rugby, but rather that New Zealand had kicked themselves out of the competition. Then on to last night's Premier League football action going down to the wire at the end of the season. We saw Man City cruise past relegation, threatened Watford 4-0, and then Arsenal suffering a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Aston Villa at Villa Park. Raheem Sterling's brace and goals by Phil Foden and Emerick Laporte helping City thrash the Hornets. And in the second match, a vital Trezeguet strike in the 27th minute, securing the win over the Gunners, and then helping Villa to leapfrog Watford and Bournemouth to get out of the bottom three for the first time since February this year. Now there'll be 2 Premier League fixtures to look out for this evening. Man United take on West Ham. That's at 7 p.m. And then the big one, Liverpool up against Chelsea. That one kicking off at 9:15. Then returning to a motorsport story that broke over the weekend, reigning MotoGP champion Marc Marquez underwent a successful surgery on a broken arm. That was after crashing in the season opener in Jerez in Spain on Sunday. The 8-time world champion will remain in hospital for up to 48 hours and will look to make his return to the sport in August. MotoGP will return to action this weekend with a second Spanish Grand Prix. That's where we leave our sport for now. Let's take a look at the weather.
Before we we get into the weather forecast for the day, we start off with our very own Uncle Tabsy's stunning video capturing yesterday's sunset at Mooley Point. Tabs says those sunset walks are very necessary to just unwind and catch a break from being at home. Thank you so much, Uncle Tabs, for the special video. Charles Oosthuizen says good morning with this sharp sunrise picture taken in Cradock in the Eastern Cape. Cradock starts the morning off at a low of 0, reaching a high of 23 degrees. Thank you, Uncle Tabsy and Charles, for sending your sunrise pictures. You at home can do the same this very morning and capture that sunrise picture and share it with us on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. Now for some interesting news for stargazers. This week marks a spectacular cosmic event when 2 meteor showers, the Delta Aquarids and the Perseids, will grace the night sky at the same time, creating spectacular displays. The Perseid meteor shower, widely considered to be the best meteor shower of the year because of the brightness and speed of the meteors, often leaves long wakes or trails of light and color behind, making for a spectacular show. It's also one of the most prolific meteor showers, producing as many as 100 meteors per hour during its peak. The Delta Aquarids can be more difficult to see, especially if there is a moon of sorts, but expect to spot up to 20 meteors per hour. Both showers are most visible between midnight and dawn. But now bring it back home to South Africa. Pleasant conditions are expected across the country today. Siqale Polokwane at a low of 4 degrees, reaching a high of 21. Bombela 7.24 are your temperatures for the day. It's a partly cloudy day in Pretoria at a maximum of 22 and a minimum of 4 degrees. Moving over to Johannesburg at temperatures ranging from 1 reaching a high of 20 degrees. Mahikeng expects some sun namhlanje with a high of 23 and a low of 3 degrees. Klerksdorp starts the morning on -1 today, reaching a high of 20 degrees. Kimberley 1 with an afternoon maximum of 21 degrees. Bloemfontein 0.21, Richards Bay 12.25, and Pietermaritzburg 7.25 are the temperatures for namhlanje. Moving over to Durban, 11 is your low, reaching a high of 23. Mthatha 3 is your minimum temperature, reaching a maximum of 25 degrees. Lots of sun for East London namhlanje at a max of 23 and a low of 9 degrees. Cradock 0.23, the Friendly City Port Elizabeth 10.21, and George 9 is your low and will reach a high of 21. Cape Town is a very humid day today, maximum 21 with a low of 13. Worcester 8 degrees with a maximum of 24, and Sutherland 2.21 are your temperatures for the day. It's also a very sunny day in Uppington at a maximum of 25 with a minimum of 5 degrees. Now remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, please make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
Now we're keeping it feel good indeed, and of course we're talking about all things sleep now this morning and all things kids, and we're meant to spend a third of our lives, Tubbs. That's a third of our lives sleeping, but for many of us this duration and the quality of the sleep is usually compromised, and there is nothing worse than obviously constantly waking up on the wrong side of bed.
Oh, absolutely. Now, besides the important growth and repair work that occurs in our sleep, and there's a lot of that happening, right? Not to mention the body's natural 24-hour circadian rhythm that we need to honor. It all becomes null and void if we don't give it the proper time it needs. And obviously, don't we all just feel our best after a good night's sleep? I mean, I know I do. And that's why celebrated American author John Steinbeck, or rather Steinbeck, was on the money when he said the following.
Yeah, that's what he had to say. It is a common experience that a problem difficult at night is resolved in the morning after the committee of sleep has worked on it. And I think it's so important to obviously just pay attention to your problems. Obviously, take some time to think about it. And I think a good rest is going to allow you to make such an important decision in the morning. So make sure you take some time to pay attention, be pertinent, and of course, like Tabisa would say, run with it, of course.
Run with it. But you know I'm always coming through with the advice. So here's a tip today, another tip or method that helps me sleep as a warm cup of milk.
Of course.
But of course, we're not going to be dozing off right now. It's 3 hours of TV to do, but cheers, well. We'll see you after this.
Yeah, beat that drum. It's your birthday. Time to have a little bit of fun and celebrate your birthday with everyone across the land. And hopefully you have someone who loves you enough to send through a birthday dedication. But let's see just how special you are and who you share your special day with. Very happy birthday to all of you, including one very well-known South African football player, Nkosi Lorch, who turns 27 years old today. Hey, look at him, youngster. He plays for Orlando Pirates and the South African national team, an incredible talent. Nkosi has received a handful of awards for his performance on the field. He was also named the South African Player of the Season and Players Player of the Season in 2019. Now, he's loved, man, and he really is really worth every accolade. And now he hopes to be signed overseas. And we certainly add our voice to that resounding call. We wish him all the best on his very special day. What a great guy, man.
Truly a great guy, and people love and sing along to a song about him. Do you know Mapiano, the genre Mapiano?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a song called Ulot. It goes Utembi Ngosu number 10, that's Ulot. Then you must do Matilot. Yebo, Matilot, Ulot. Yebo. Happy birthday to you, Tembi.
Hopefully people across the land are doing that just for you right now, man. Happy birthday, brother.
Truly, but now to the true superstars, which is you, our lovely viewers. Taryn, a very happy 30th birthday to my beautiful wife and best friend, Taryn. You're truly a blessing to me and Sky. May God bless you with many more years ahead. We love you so much. From Morgan and Sky Pillay. Happy birthday to you. Such a cutie.
Cutie pie.
We wish our little princess Iyonke a happy first birthday from your lovely parents and grandparents. Happy birthday to you, cutie.
Oh, that is just too sweet. And then Jasmine's having a good day. Today, 22 years ago, I was blessed with an angel, and that's you, my baby girl, Jasmine Danielle Herzog. Happy birthday to you. Infinite blessings for today and always, and that's coming to you with loads of love from your mom. And then happy birthday to our older sister, Yvonne Johnson. Wishing you all of the best. That's coming to you from the family, the Smalls. Happy birthday, Yvonne.
We wish our son, Nehemiah January, a very happy 3rd birthday. May God spare you many more to come. Lots of love from your daddy, mommy, and Isabella. Happy birthday to you, little handsome.
Little man.
Umpumelelo, be happy. Today is the day you were brought into this world to be a blessing and inspiration to the people around you. You are a wonderful person. May you be given more birthdays to fulfill all your dreams from your friends. Your friends truly love you. Happy birthday to you.
Let's see if we can squeeze one more in here. Happy born day to the most humble and hardworking boyfriend ever, Chabaleng Liberty. May God grant you many more years to come. Enjoy your day to the fullest. That's from your loving girlfriend, Tsekofatso Shabalala. Happy birthday, brother. Looking pretty dapper as well. Yeah, happy birthday to all of you.
Now, if you at home would like to send your loved one a birthday message, do not fear, do not worry. It's very simple. Send us your birthday videos to 071-640-6551 or email your wishes to birthdays@cardova.tv. While we always tend, to celebrate the youth in our birthday wishes, it's time to find out how RX Radio are doing stellar things on our airwaves during lockdown.
So cool. I've been lucky enough to kind of go onto their show a couple of times. They are amazing, and they are definitely deserving of this accolade.
This is your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, RX Radio is a station run by children for children at the Red Cross War Memorial Children's Hospital. And they caught our attention a while ago, but now they've got the attention of the World Health Organization. This after being named a winner in the Reboot Health and Wellbeing Innovation Challenge run by the World Health Organization itself. Now, the challenge was aimed at celebrating young people's creativity and their solutions to some of the health issues they face. And what better solution and showing of ingenuity than RX Radio. And of course, we had a chance to speak to them before, and we're doing it again. Radio producer Chris Booth alongside 2 RX Radio reporters, Talita Counter and Luzuko Sonkapu. Join us via video call to tell us more about this achievement and all that's been going on at RX Radio. Very good morning, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Good morning.
Good morning. Let me start off by saying congratulations to all of you guys. I mean, Talitha, you guys must be so ecstatic and super proud of yourself for this award. But what does it feel like, being recognized by the World Health Organization itself?
For me, it's a great thing because this platform has allowed children to voice their opinions regarding COVID-19 or other children-related matters. And this platform has allowed RX Radio to be well known by the World Health Organization. Now more people would want to tune into RX Radio and listen to our shows.
Yeah, and we've loved being a part of that journey in, the little bit that we've had the chance to link up with you guys. And Chris, congratulations to you, producer, man. Talk to me about that creativity and innovation that was being recognized by the World Health Organization, and also how RX Radio has adapted itself to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah, so what we did when the pandemic hit South Africa is that we immediately, because we're a radio station that is by and for children, that is based at a children's hospital, our main goal is to inform, educate, and entertain, and mainly around health topics. So what happened is that when this pandemic hit, we couldn't have live broadcasts, we couldn't bring the kids to the studio and that sort of stuff. Everyone was in lockdown. So what we decided to do is to use WhatsApp voice notes to be able to, for the young reporters and the child reporters to be able to share their story, experiences, about the coronavirus pandemic, as well as the lockdown. And this has then been uploaded to our website and put on our radio station so that people can have easy access to this.
Talitha, I want to come back to you. I know a lot of us have to adjust about what we're speaking about during this time, but what are some of the other stories you guys have been covering during the lockdown period as well?
So we're mainly focused on the COVID-19 matter, where children are speaking about the experiences and what they're doing, and as well as giving tips on staying healthy. And for those who are, I know children can get bored by staying at home doing nothing. So us reporters are also giving advice on how to stay busy.
Yeah, that's wonderful what you guys have been able to do to create a platform that gives a voice to children, especially during this time. Now, Luzugo, when the virus first arrived in South Africa, I understand that you moved away from the city to a village because of your condition. Tell us a little bit more about that and how your experience has been during the pandemic.
I moved from Western Cape to Eastern Cape when the pandemic started. This is how part of the experience. My experience was that I was able to facilitate a number of family better and also to actually be safer. I self-quarantined myself and homeschooling and also keep myself busy. Actually helped me to stay active. And everything was just a part of a journey and experience.
I love that positivity. It's all about the journey. But maybe lastly, Chris, you can end off. What are your parting words of encouragement for other children in South Africa during this time?
So I think, it's important to stay informed and to practice, the safety regulations that we have in place of wearing a mask, washing your hands as often as possible for 20 seconds, and to keep that physical distance between people. I think it's very important to do that.
Absolutely, and to you and the rest of the RX Radio team, thank you very much. You truly are exceptional examples of what we are striving for, not just in South Africa, but throughout the world. Thanks very much, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, RX Radio is the very first radio station in the world to have trained child reporters from within a hospital. And in doing so, they're enabling the youth to tell their own stories. And we say a very, very big congratulations for their achievement. And here's to many more stories and accomplishments to come.
welcome back. You're live with Expresso and just in time for a hugely, and I'm going to stress that, hugely important conversation, especially for parents, as we've already engaged in this conversation, something we can relate to a lot. No child is exactly the same. We have proven this on the show. And what might work for one in creating bedtime routines might just not work for another. So this morning, we're going to chat to Yolandi Becker, who is the Managing Director of Good Night, a child sleep consultancy that teaches babies how to sleep better, and hopefully parents to boot, and about the importance of establishing a sleeping routine for your little one, especially during lockdown, which has thrown us all out of whack. And if you guys at home are struggling like Jamie and I, give us a call right now. We'd love to hear any of your questions or your comments. Maybe you've got some advice on what has worked for you. Write this number down, 021 110 552. That's 021 110 552. Yolandi, a very good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Thanks, Graham. I'm doing really well.
Clearly you had sleep
I was
because
going to say, you look radiant and well rested this morning.
I did sleep well. Thank you very much. My kids are, though, 6 and 8 already. So I've hit the lockdown jackpot, I always say.
Oh, wow.
With the age of my children.
Yolandi, I really envy you so much right now because like G said, both him and I are currently fighting a routine. I have an 18-month-old baby and just trying to get him into a routine right now from being, a toddler, from being an infant. He was really good with a sleep routine. Now we're finding, with lockdown, there's a lot of pressure. But let's start right at the beginning, Why is having, just a healthy sleep routine particularly important for a child's well-being and development?
So especially at 18 months, it does make a very big difference, especially a routine, because babies and children do not actually have any sense of time. So imagine your whole day without a watch, but you have to be at certain places at a certain time. So actually having a routine helps them to signal their day and what is coming so that there's less uncertainty. And of course, having good sleep then puts them in a better mood. The growth hormone is actually secreted during sleep. So overall, it's a very important thing for them to sleep, but also to have a good routine.
So when should we start the sleep training, if you will? When can we introduce that routine, and how do we begin to start training our children to sleep better?
So I like that you're using the word sleep training because that's a very controversial kind of topic. Some people seem to think if we're talking about sleep training that we're going to tell you to leave your child to just cry till the next morning. And the reality is when we talk about sleep training, it's about creating those routines and schedules, creating positive sleep associations in order for your child to kind of link those sleep cycles at night. And just like with you two, every child is different. And when a parent needs that assistance, depends on the parent. With my first child, for instance, I was waking up 3 times a night, and it took me 2 years to realize that I'm actually having a problem. My second child, on the other hand, it was one time she was waking up, and I was like, now I need help. So it does depend a lot on the parent and the child. But I always say the sooner you start, the better. Because with, Jamie, with an 18-month-old, it's not just crying anymore. It's, tantrums, screaming. To change things.
Yolandi, I want to ask you, how important is a diet linked to sleep training? Because a lot of times I find, because I'm also a Google mom sometimes, when I find out, when I want to find out with sleep training, is feeding your child throughout the day and giving them, when they're fuller during the day, does that help with them sleeping longer and also just helping with a routine for sleeping longer at night?
So it's a combination. We call those things that you're required to have in place, we call it the building blocks of sleep. And those are, nutrition is definitely one of them. And the smaller your baby is, the bigger factor nutrition and hunger is going to play in their sleep because their bellies are still pretty small. But you also want to look at routine and schedule during the day. You want to look at bedtime routine, and you want to look at having the right environmental factors in place as well. And like I mentioned earlier, creating those positive sleep associations.
So we're going to be quite self-indulgent now because Jamie is battling with night feeds. That kind of seems to be at the core of hers with her 18-month-old. My 3-year-old, on the other hand, we managed to train him out of needing to be fed at night, which was a breakthrough. But now he is waking up at night at least once and wanting one of us there to go back to sleep. How do we address something like that, the disruption in their sleep routine when they get a little bit older? And trust me, a 3-year-old can be quite an unmanageable thing at 3 in the morning when he really wants his way. So how does that idea of training evolve the older a child gets? And what would you suggest in my case?
Okay, so for you, Graham, with a 3-year-old, I agree with you. I don't actually know why they call it terrible 2s. For me, 3s was much worse
Tyrannical
than 2s.
3s, yeah.
No. So with a 3-year-old, obviously you have to keep in mind that there's a couple of things that you have to have in place, or when you're training them, that you have to keep in mind. First of all, you have to keep in mind that they are emotional beings. So they kind of feed off our emotions. So if you're going to be stressed out, they're going to be stressed out. If they're going to be happy, you're going to be happy, they're going to be happy. And it's very much that they feed off our emotions. And that has an impact, of course, on their nighttime sleep and how they go to bed. Because they're not just anymore, they don't want to be in their bed. They're actually fearful of being by themselves. So you want to create like some one-on-one time, extra one-on-one time to make them feel secure. Okay. But also help with their independence. So verbalizing also what you expect of them. So discipline does start playing a role with their sleep at 3. So you want to put your foot down a little bit, but also verbalize what you expect of them. Because often we say things, "Oh, you're going to sleep nicely tonight," and that's very vague for a 3-year-old. So you need to be very concrete with your expectations. Close your eyes. Stay in your bed, be quiet until the sun comes up, so that it seems like it's something that they can actually do. And it's not this vague thing of, "Oh, you're going to sleep nicely at night." So verbalize what it is. And like I said before, also make those time or create a concept of time for them, because they don't have any concept of time. For them, everything that happens in the future is tomorrow. Everything that happened in the past is yesterday. So you want to create nap time routines, about 10 minutes long, where you have certain steps that happen. You read them a story, you cuddle a little bit with them, and then they need to sleep. And the same with a 30-minute bedtime routine can also help signal them that sleep is coming. And a very big mistake that parents often make at 3 years is they are very tempted to make the bedtime later. And then children become overtired and overstimulated. And up until the age of 5-6 years, children still require 11 to 12 hours of sleep at night. So you still need to aim for like a 7 o'clock, at the latest 7:30 bedtime, because most toddlers and 3-year-olds, they get up at around 5-6 a.m. in the morning.
Don't we know it?
Maybe in your case earlier.
Yeah, don't we know it? Okay, that's a great point to leave it at there. We'll continue this discussion in just a moment. And again, if you have any questions that you'd like to weigh in, we'd love to hear from you. 021 110 552. Yolandi is going to stick around. We'll take some of your questions in a moment.
Great.
Information. I think it's so relevant, especially when it comes to your routine. And I remember as a kid, for me especially, one of the biggest routines that I just purely loved was mama cooking up that love in the kitchen. And of course, as the midweek chill hits us this wintry Wednesday, we have of course come up with the perfect solution to beat the cold, and of course build your immunity and enjoy it at the very same time. So the Be Well Green Power Ranger soup is loaded with green veg that are high in antioxidants and vitamin C, along with canola oil, which is low in saturated fat and high in omega-3. The boxes are just getting ticked all over the show. So of course this recipe is a great way to use up leftover green veggies, and unlike most other soups, it's ready in only 30 minutes. So choose your health, and of course, #switch to canola. How are we doing, Nicole Snelling? I'm so excited. It's green. It's got all the things that I know kids don't always love that much, but all the essential antioxidants, the vitamins, and of course green being alkaline line. It's just always something good for the soul and for winter. So take me through the magic. I cannot wait. This is going to be a favorite for me, I'm
So
sure.
I really like that BYL's playing on the like Power Ranger thing.
Yeah.
Like remember we did the red Power Ranger one. Now we're doing a green Power Ranger.
It's morphin' time.
I'm waiting for the pink Power Ranger though. I think we should do like a pink Power Ranger or
I
something.
could throw down a little strawberry infusion maybe. It could work, eh?
Maybe like a cold soup kind of vibe. But we're making the green one today. So this one is super simple. Like you said, it's done within half an hour in terms of prep, everything that goes into it.
That already, I must just add, Nicole, is a plus, because I remember my mother starting to make soup like in the morning during breakfast, and then it would only be ready like hopefully by that evening. So 30 minutes is a game changer.
And you know when you're waking up or when you come home from school and you're swanning that soup, you know what you're in for.
Exactly.
Exactly. So I've just put the onions in here. I'm going to add a little bit of our BYL canola oil in here. Then you want them to brown beautifully. So I've got 3 onions in here. So that is like, I would say almost like our main bulking flavor point of our soup.
Okay.
I love good, like lots of onion. Like French onion soup's like one of my favorites. So I love this recipe.
I think onions on a lot of things just amplifies it.
Yeah, caramelized onion, chopped onion, raw onion, like you can't go wrong.
Yeah.
We're gonna add a little bit of garlic just to give the base a beautiful flavor. And this one can be vegan or vegetarian. So I've went for a vegan option using coconut cream.
Oh, beautiful.
You could use coconut or cream as well, or coconut milk, depending on what you have.
Yes.
But before you add this, we're going to add we've got some baby marrows here, or zucchini.
I was going to say those mini cucumbers.
Mini cucumbers, no. But courgettes, they call them as well. They've got like 3 names. So whatever you call them, that's what's going in there. Then we're going to add another beautiful green element, which is broccoli.
Broccoli.
So,
do you know what is crazy? I stand to be corrected, but I'm pretty sure broccoli as a green is one of the highest. It's so rich in protein. As a green, you don't really expect that, especially something coming from broccoli. But as a free radical as well, as like a negative cull, you can eat as much broccoli as you want and almost never get full. Like, it's crazy. So it's a really great food to add in a soup.
I actually love broccoli because it's so versatile. Because people always think like, oh, broccoli steamed or like boiled. Like, no, fry it, roast it, put it in your soups. Like, there's so much you can do with it.
So much indeed. Of course, guys, head over to expressoshow.com if you want to see more recipe inspiration and more facts on what you can do with broccoli and all the incredible ingredients that we're playing around with here in the kitchen. We are currently making a green Power Ranger soup. It's perfect for winter. The kids are going to love it, so have some fun with it. And of course, we are almost halfway through and it's going to only take you 30 minutes. Simple as that. Nicole, how are we doing here? How far are we?
So what you do is I added a little bit of cauliflower. Now, cauliflower, when you puree it, it really makes it creamy and thick and rich. I love that about cauliflower. So add 1 head of that.
So just for anybody, and maybe myself that's not aware, pureeing, what do you mean by that exactly?
So pureeing is when you blitz it up. So we made it fine here. So if we go over to this one, I've got a little bit of, like you see, it's pureed like that.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so it's super smooth. I left it a little bit of pieces. So I took the handstick blend and I left pieces in there because I love it a little bit chunky.
Just a little bit of that chew and that slurp.
So you cover this with water, top it up with vegetable stock as well if you have.
Okay.
If not, it's okay. I really like to use vegetable stock, so it adds a lot more flavor and body to it. But if you don't and you just have like a vegetable stock cube or a little bit of carrots, you can add that in there just to add some flavor. Then when it's cooked, so that you know when this is done, when the cauliflower is soft.
Okay.
That's when you puree it. So I've done that over here. And then this is the point where you add your beautiful coconut cream. That is just going to give it that whole nother luxury velvety feel to the soup.
That coconut milk looks like condensed milk coming out of there. What did you see that? Like a little slow-mo 50 frames per second. Wow. I think the vegans are going to love you right now as well with that.
So you can add the kale in here at this point, or spinach, but I actually like to add it in at the end. Also, just when you blitz it up and you're just about to serve it, that for me is like when you get that beautiful pungent flavor.
Yes. Oh, you are with me, speaking my language indeed. I love kale as well. It's such a superfood. Honestly, one of the most powerful greens, I would say. Wow. So is this it?
This is it, Ra. So I've just put a swirl of
wow.
coconut cream on the top there. You serve it with some whole wheat bread or a rye bread if you want to, or croutons, whatever you have in your cupboard.
You're sitting here waiting for step 5 and 6 and 7. As simple as that. Wow,
It's
guys.
as simple as that, Raul.
Obviously, from incredible recipes to incredible prizes, Be Well are giving you the chance to win a year-long supply of canola oil. And all you got to do to enter is simply respond to the competition post on the Expresso Facebook or Twitter page and tell us what you made from your hashtag switch to canola. And don't forget to use the hashtag. And of course, the competition closes tonight at midnight, and your T's and C's can be found, and they do apply. So find them on expressoshow.com. And of course, if you missed any of the steps to our delicious Green Power Ranger soup, here's a quick recap. Check it out.
Be Well. Love, food, life.
Oh, you can make my day. It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, everybody, to your Feel Good Breakfast show right here on SABC3. Now, earlier in the show, we discussed the importance of creating, a healthy sleeping routine for your child and the benefits that it has on their development. Now, we're continuing the conversation now with Yolandi Becker, who's the Managing Director of Good Night, a child sleep consultancy that teaches babies how to sleep better. Yolandi, thank you so much for staying with us this morning. I mean, G and I have literally not gotten up from this chair because we're just keeping this conversation going, because it really is a big adjustment for so many, especially for babies, but also on the parents, just to adjust to a sleeping routine and getting them into a sleeping pattern.
Yolandi, maybe we should call it training the parents, because I don't know if it's the children that need the training so much, but I'm beginning to learn, because I've also got a 3-month-old baby, and I think that has a big part to play in terms of what you were saying about the one-on-one time with Jack now is obviously diminished because there is a lot more focus on, there's that gorgeous little thing. She has no trouble sleeping, as you can see, but there's big big brother and baby together on screen right now, but that in itself has been an adjustment. And of course, consistency has gone out the window, and I think that's a big problem. Why is consistency so important when it comes to establishing sleeping patterns for babies and for young children?
Okay, so we've already mentioned that, of course, small children have no concept of time. So, of course, consistency helps to kind of create those signals of when sleep is coming or what next is coming. Because in this complex emotions that they're having, it gives them some certainty and predictability in their day. But of course, as well, very big factor and why it's important is their internal clock. We call it a circadian rhythm, and we all have it. And this is set. It's set according to night and daytime, light and darkness, temperature. So that internal clock in your child is set, and you need to have a day or a routine according to their circadian rhythm. You can see that with people who have shift work, that they really have difficulty actually adjusting to the changes in time because it's not natural to their body.
Preach it, sister.
Now
Preach
let's speak about the effects. What actually affects a child's sleep, and what should we as parents be aware of?
Okay, once again, I've mentioned it before, is that we call it the building blocks of sleep. So you want to have a routine and schedule, which is flexible during the day, of course. We're working here with children, not with robots. So you need to have a little bit of flexibility in your day and follow what we call a sleep, feed, play schedule during the day with age-appropriate awake times. You want to have the easiest and quickest and best way is to have a bedtime routine that is not too late and not too long. And then, of course, environmental factors, also easy to change. Make it as dark as possible in your child's room, especially in your baby's room. With a 3-year-old, of course, it can be a little bit different because fear of the dark can actually start playing a role. But then you're going to have just a small nightlight for them, but also to create a sleeping environment, a sleeping space with no toys in their bed because it's for sleeping, not for playing. And then, of course, like I mentioned before, creating those positive sleep associations.
When do we need to call you? When do we reach a point where we and I say this because I think yeah, exactly. We've both gotten a huge amount just out of this brief chat, but at what point should we draw a line as parents and say, okay, it's time to bring in the experts?
So bad sleep is different for every parent, and it depends sometimes on how many children you are. So if you're not coping and you're struggling, you need to get in the experts. And we really have a very comprehensive process that we follow. But I always say, the sooner, the better. And we go through a whole process of, getting to know the parent. So if you want to do it in a responsible way, because it's easy to Google and to read books and everything, but we actually send a 10-page questionnaire to parents to get a very holistic, overview of what the situation is. And then we custom make a plan for the family. So it's not for another child, it is for that family that we're making the plan, age appropriately. And then the most important part of what we do is giving them support. And that's when you need us, is if you are wondering, is my child hungry at night? Are they cold at night? And you're not sure what's going on. Let us make it easy for you, because we will be there for 2 to 3 weeks of the process to help you to implement the plan.
Yolandi, I just think that you've become my best friend right now. I think I'm going to put your number on speed dial because so many useful tips that you've been giving us. So thank you so much, Yolandi, from Good Night, for all your information this morning.
It's a pleasure. It was really great chatting with you guys, and I'm glad that I could help a little bit.
Go and have a wonderful, energized day after all of the sleep you've been having. But of course,
Thank you so much.
You can get that resource. Goodnightbaby.co.za is a great place to start. Speak to the experts if you are pulling your hair out, unable to find that sleep routine for your child and, of course, for yourself. It's so important for a young child, for a baby, to have that for their development, for their own mental and holistic well-being as well. So it's worth finding out what's gone wrong and finding out how to fix it.
Some great advice there from Yolandi Becker. Thank you very much for that. And of course, we know that sleep for our children matters so much. But hey, adult sleep matters too, okay? And sometimes all you need to do is to find joy in the small daily rituals when you're planning your day. You know, think about taking your first step or sipping your first cup of coffee or, most importantly, climbing into a warm, comfortable bed at night. Now, art director Ian Martin joins us to tell us more about the latest in making your sleep experience as comfortable as possible, something that has piqued my interest of late. Ian, always great to have you with us, by the way.
Morning, sir.
Good to see you. Let's quickly talk about, you know, obviously when you look at a bedroom situation and you're trying to find a way of making your sleep as comfortable as possible, you want to visually be pleased with what you see, so the linen matters.
Yeah.
But also, what is inside your linen and your pillowcases matters quite a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, people say it's what inside that counts, right? The thing is, I think we get caught up in choosing a color, choosing a print, getting all excited. This is new, this is different, whatever. It's the stuff that goes inside that's also really important. I think anyone who's had a bad night's sleep or slept on a friend's bed or this or that, you know, it's just not good.
Yes.
So yeah, I think the inside, what goes inside, is pretty important.
Absolutely, it contributes so much to how you feel the next morning, right? So let's talk about what you've brought with you today.
Yeah, so this is some Woolworths hollow fiber pillow and duvet inners. And the thing is that these are the guys that it's a quality product. It's a good investment. It's hollow fiber, and it really is. You know, I think it's something that we need to focus on. A good night's sleep, as we say, is important. And yeah, as I say, they've got the full range, whether it's duvet inners or pillows.
Yeah. When you talk hollow fiber, if you could maybe just describe to me, it sounds like there's a lot of air involved in there, so it involves softness, comfort.
Yeah, basically it's polyesters, either virgin or manufactured, as this is, and it basically creates that sort of that mesh kind of system inside either your duvet or either your pillow inner. So yeah, it's that space in between.
Beautiful. Now I understand that there's also a sustainability story behind these particular products.
The thing about this is they're a good investment. They're super comfortable, and these guys are made from recycled plastic bottles.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Wow.
So what they do is a very complicated, long story short. The recycled bottles are cut. They turned into a very beautiful thin fiber that essentially recreates the same feeling that you would with a virgin fiber. It's just doing a really good thing for the environment because it's recycled.
That's absolutely wonderful. We're taking a look at the process right now of how it all happens, which is absolutely, I mean, it's a comfort to know that what you're doing for your own comfort actually benefits the environment at the end of the day.
I think so, yeah, and it's an investment. Look, the linen, as we were talking earlier, you know, you can change your linen whenever. This guy is a lot more of an investment kind of piece. You're not going to rotate it that often. Your linen you will do, but this is a little bit more of a long-term kind of investment.
Excellent stuff. So what else do you have for us to keep in mind when it comes to our duvet inners and our pillows as well?
Well, I think the thing that I always used to get confused by is the TOG count. I was like,
TOG count.
What the hell?
I don't even know what a TOG.
Exactly.
I know maybe thread count a little bit, but not TOG count.
The TOG is basically all about the warmth. It's not about the thickness. It's about the warmth. So the higher the TOG, the warmer your duvet or your pillow is going to be.
Okay.
So I would say for summer, you're like a 2.5 to a 7.5 kind of TOG. This one over here is a 6. It's good for spring and summer.
Okay.
And then your winter stuff is your 7.5 up to your 10.5 TOG count.
That'll keep you nice and warm.
Toasty in winter, yeah.
Give you that nice little extra pressure. Feel like you got somebody lying on top of you.
Those extra 10 minutes that you just want to stay in.
Oh man, you should avoid those at all costs. Wake up with the first alarm, Ian.
Hell yes.
With the first alarm. Now, every year Woolworths stop over 1 million plastic bottles from going into landfills by turning them into recycled polyester, which they then use for these best-selling hollow fiber duvets and pillows. Now, make sure to get yourself 1 or 2, maybe 3, so you can rotate them. These soft and comfortable duvet and pillow inners. And also, if you're a W Rewards member, you can get up to 25% off 2 selected duvet inners and pillows. And this offer is only valid online and while stocks last. Ian, thanks so much.
Recycling just makes sense. Why not turn waste into something beautiful and useful?
Welcome back to it. It is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso, live on SABC3 on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning. Thank you very much for choosing to start the day off with us. It's time for us to talk films, and our film guy, JP Sebastian, joins us now on the hot seat to chat about this week's newest, most eye-catching movie trailers, each probably promising blockbusters to come. Or will they be blockbusters? Because we're watching movies in slightly different ways these days, with cinemas in most parts of the world really still not open yet.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing to talk about in the future. In fact, a lot of these don't have dates forthcoming, and no doubt that some of these dates will be pushed forward so long as we keep failing this pandemic response.
It makes me sad. I was just saying to you now, and I was just saying to JP earlier, that when I do go back to the cinema and I hear the 20th Century Fox, I will fall apart and cry because it's been so long.
You had it right during the break. That's Universal Pictures.
Okay, cool. Yeah, there we go. Okay, cool. So let's take a look at these movies. You've got trailers for us. This is an interesting set of movies. What's the first one you got for us?
So I felt like
about the walls.
It's probably only fair that once in a while you talk about young adult movies. You know, these kinds of teeny romances that also deserve their light of day. And obviously, words on bathroom walls is maybe not the first thing I'd associate with romance. Some people find it that way. But this is another one of these teen high school romance movies where someone is afflicted with a mental illness. And it's a strange phenomenon that we've had since it wasn't just The Fault in Their Stars, The Fault in Our Stars. I'm sorry, I'm stepping on all sorts of tiny young feet here. Where there was the other one, 5 Feet Apart. I think that was last year. So there's this really strange, like, apocalyptic trend. Shame. What are teenagers going through? Why do they believe the end of the world is like, well, maybe they're not too
Sometimes it does feel like it's nigh.
Yeah, well, when you're in high school, I suppose you have tiny eyes. And anyway, speaking of eyes, cutting back to the trailer, it's a young man suffers with paranoid schizophrenia, which obviously is a mental disorder where you have hallucinations, and so he sees people who aren't there, hears voices that aren't there, and picks up patterns where you really shouldn't be worrying about patterns. And a young lady comes into his life, as the trailer says. I mean, not the trailer, the poster says something about, you know, sometimes don't listen to your head, but listen to your heart. It's like I said, please listen to your psych as well. Maybe find love too, that's nice, but please don't discard your psychotherapist. So, you know, if you love that kind of stuff like Fault in Our Stars, even Love, Simon, not necessarily everything.
Really sweet. They can be really sweet because sometimes you see these young people just carrying each other through what could be a really, really difficult time.
It's actually maybe a good sign. I think maybe it's a hopeful sign that young people are like, you know what, I want to learn about my neighbor's mental illness and I want to make friends with them, and when they feel bullied and alone on the quad, I'm going to go sit next to them and strike up a romance.
So any standout characters there in terms of actors we might recognize?
It's all lighties to me, and actually none of them have any past that's amazing to speak of because they're still basically fetuses. But the young lady was previously in Waves, which was an incredible movie which she had an outing there. Her name is Taylor Russell. Lovely. So well, aside from that, big adult names, Andy Garcia, etc. Greenland. Oh, you were asking about this. This stars, this is Sparta. I know Katlego wants to shout that from Subway, the 300 line. No, he's, I don't know, needs 3 more.
He's gone elsewhere.
Like but Gerard Butler, obviously famous for the 300 year, being directed by the same guy who did one of the White House Downs, one of the White House Fallens, whatever. And fortunately, this time he's not fighting terrorists or anything of the sort. It's just comets flying down at Earth. So if in 2020 you didn't need, or you felt like you needed more apocalyptic movies, maybe this is for you. This will be in November in South Africa. I think November 13th, which is Friday the 13th.
I don't know what's worse, exiting on the basis of COVID-19 or random comets just flying through in the way that we're seeing on there. I mean,
it was last week, it was Neowise that passed us, that big comet.
Everything's just scary. Everything is just
scary. If your life isn't action-packed and scary enough, then Gerald Butler's got you covered in November.
But listen, JP Sebastian, you're going nowhere. I know that you're going to be telling us about Beyonce's upcoming film, also Black is King, coming out next week. But it's time for us now to find out what's happening in the world. Here's Kat with the news.
It's just gone 1 minute past the hour. Here's a look at those news headlines. On the national news front, a 93-year-old from Cape Town is among the latest people to recover from COVID-19 in the Western Cape, Premier Alan Winde has announced. Catherine Newman, a resident at Claremont Old Aged Home, was one of many inspiring stories of recovery in the province, he said. Meanwhile, a Durban woman has been reinfected with COVID-19. She tested positive in March, but after 2 weeks of isolation, her results came back negative. Now she has tested positive again. The South African Medical Research Council's Glenda Gray says the possibility of reinfection can't be ruled out. The academic year in the higher education sector will probably only end in March next year, the Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Blade Nzimande, said yesterday. He added that his department's budget will be cut just shy of 10 billion rand. Some 5 billion rand of this figure is reallocated for reprioritizing expenditure towards COVID-19 activities. Meanwhile, the Gauteng Education Department has warned parents not to wait until the last minute to apply for grades 1 and 8 admissions for the 2021 academic year as it closes on Friday. On the international news front, Egypt's parliament yesterday gave President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi the green light for possible military intervention in Libya by approving the deployment of armed forces abroad to fight, quote, terrorist groups and militias. Sisi earlier warned that Egypt would not stand idle if there was a threat to national security in Egypt and its neighbors to the west, Libya. Egypt, alongside the United Arab Emirates and Russia, backs fighters led by Eastern Commander General Khalifa Haftar, who abandoned an offensive on the capital last month after Turkey stepped up support for Tripoli. In other news, the British Parliament's Intelligence and Security Committee says Russia meddled in the 2014 Scottish referendum, and the British government failed to ask for a deep assessment of possible Kremlin-directed interference in the Brexit vote. Now, there's been credible open-source commentary suggesting that Russia undertook influence campaigns in relation to the Scottish independence referendum in 2014, said the report, which was completed in March of 2019 but shelved until yesterday. The report cast Russia as a hostile power which posed a significant threat to the UK and the West across a range of fronts. And now news of an 8-year-old's unselfish birthday pledge. Eco-warrior 8-year-old Romario Valentine of Umhlanga has launched a fund to support his favorite bird park through Back a Buddy. Romario loves nature and the environment and has been waging a campaign to raise funds for Durban's Umgeni River Park for his 9th birthday on Sunday. The park houses a variety of beautiful endangered birds such as cranes, macaws, storks, hornbills and many more from Africa and the rest of the world. Now, a concerted effort is made there to help conserve and breed certain species which are on the brink of extinction. Romario's many visits to the park have inspired a deep love for birds. Now, visits from tourists are vital, but unfortunately, due to the COVID-19 lockdown, the park has been temporarily closed. So Romario has decided his 9th birthday gift, for which he has so far raised over 15,000 rand, would be to help the birds and generate awareness for the program Inspire to Conserve and preserve the legacy for other children and generations to come. And finally, taking a quick look into the world of entertainment, world events have a way of shaping the narratives that follow, and this doesn't exclude the storylines of our favorite television series and movies. Now, with the 16th season of the long-running and much-loved medical drama Grey's Anatomy cut 4 episodes short due to the COVID-19 pandemic, executive producer Krista Fernoff has revealed that the upcoming 17th season will include a coronavirus storyline. She added, "There's no way to be a long-running medical show and not to do the medical story of our lifetimes." She shared that each year the writers meet up with real-life doctors to source material, with the team usually gathering funny or crazy anecdotes. This time, however, it has felt more like a therapy session, with the writers often being the first people the doctors are relating their experiences with. She shared that the doctors talk about the situation as a war that they were not trained for. These really painful tales have made Vernoff feel that Grey's Anatomy has an opportunity and a responsibility to tell some of those stories despite the gravity they will bring. Well, on that note, that's the news for 7 o'clock. We'll have another report at 8 o'clock right now. Here's another look at those sporting headlines at 7.
Thanks so much, Kat. Let's start with rugby, and we've been anticipating this response. Saru's CEO, Yuri Roo, yesterday addressed the media and said that SA Rugby is certainly considering other options after New Zealand Rugby announced a new model for the Super Rugby competition, which excludes the South African teams and Argentina's Jaguares. Now, their new tournament would likely only feature New Zealand and Australian sides. Roo added that South Africa was not kicked out of Super Rugby, but rather that New Zealand had kicked themselves out of the competition. And on to last night's Premier League action. It saw Manchester City cruising past relegation, threatened Watford 4-0, and Arsenal suffering a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Aston Villa at Villa Park. So Raheem Sterling's brace and goals by Phil Foden and Emerick Laporte, they helped City thrash the Hornets. And in the second match, a vital Trezeguet strike in the 27th minute secured the win over the Gunners and helped Villa out of the bottom three for the first time since February. There are going to be two fixtures to look forward to tonight, and mouth-watering ones at that. We've got Man United up against a resurgent West Ham. That's at 7 p.m. And then the big one, the clash between Liverpool and Chelsea. That kicks off at 9:15. Then returning to another motorsport story we've been tracking all week. Reigning MotoGP champion Marc Marquez underwent a successful surgery on a broken arm. That was after crashing out in the season opener in Jerez, Spain on Sunday. Eight-time world champion will remain in hospital for up to 48 hours and will then look to return to his sport in August. MotoGP, of course, returns to action this weekend with a second Spanish Grand Prix. That's where we leave our sport for this hour at least. Let's take another look at the weather.
As we have a second look at the weather report, here's what our viewers wake up to. We travel to Europe with professional photographer at Glasto, Michelle, on Twitter. She shared the sunrise picture with us on Twitter, captured in the town of Somerset in southwest England. Truly a picturesque view. Thank you so much, Michelle. Bring it back home to Mzansi. Nqobile Giorgio sent us this bold sunrise with strong orange tints bleeding into the sky in Port St. John's. Your temperatures start at a low of 12 degrees and will reach a high of 25 degrees. Thank you, Michelle and Nqobile, for your pictures. I hope that you at home have taken some inspiration and will be sure to capture today's sunrise picture to share with us on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. There's still time, so please just check if there's a sunrise happening and capture it for us. But now here's some interesting news for stargazers. This week marks a spectacular cosmic event when two meteor showers, the Delta Aquarids and the Perseids, will grace the night sky at the same time, creating spectacular displays. The Perseid meteor shower, widely considered to be the best meteor shower of the year because of the brightness and speed of the meteors, often leaves long wakes or trails of light and color behind, making for a spectacular show. It's also one of the most prolific meteor showers, producing as many as 100 meteors per hour during its peak. The Delta Aquarids can be more difficult to see though, especially if there's a moon of sorts, but expect to spot up to 20 meteors per hour. Both showers are most visible between midnight and dawn. Truly a sight to see. But pleasant showers, or pleasant conditions rather, are expected today across Mzansi, starting off at Polokwane at a maximum of 21 degrees and a minimum of 4 degrees. A sunny day in Mbombela at a high of 24 and a low of 7. Pretoria expecting a maximum of 22. Jozi Maboneng, 1 is your low, reaching a high of 20. A sunny day in Mahikeng as well at a maximum of 23, but starts off the morning at a low of 3 degrees. Klerksdorp -1 this morning, reaching an afternoon temperature of 20 degrees. Kimberley, the big hole, 1 is your minimum, reaching a maximum temperature of 21 degrees. Bloemfontein 021. Richards Bay 1225, also a sunny day in Richards Bay. Pietermaritzburg 725. Durban 11 and a maximum of 23. Moving to the Eastern Cape, Mthatha, your low is 3 degrees, reaching a high of 25. Emondi, East London, 23 is your maximum, but starts off the morning at 9 degrees. Craddock starts off cool, namhlanje, at a low of 0, reaching a high of 23. Port Elizabeth, 1021, and George, 921. The Mother City, a humid day, a maximum of 21, with a low of 13. And Worcester, a low of 8 degrees, reaching a high of 24. Sutherland, your temperatures range from 2 to 21 today, and Uppington starts the day at 5 degrees, reaching a high of 25. Now remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, please make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
Well, listen, the Feel Good continues right here because in just a moment we are chatting to our friend at Legal Ease, Eitan Stern, this morning.
Yeah, that's right. Some legal advice on the current pandemic and the issues we're facing when it comes to deliveries. So what do we do when we're expecting a delivery and it hasn't actually arrived? Well, we're going to find out soon, definitely, Jamie.
Absolutely. Weigh in on the conversation. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. We'll see you after this.
It's my Feel Good Breakfast Show.
Welcome back. You're live with Expresso. We really do appreciate you joining us for the second hour of the show and another really interesting discussion. Time for another edition of our Wednesday favorites, our feature where we focus on sometimes the unconventional, maybe the understood or misunderstood side of law. It's called
So Now What?
So now what? What do we do? And we are calling on the legal guidance of our friend and expert in law, all-round nice guy, director at legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern. Eitan, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, gents. How are you both doing?
Very good.
You got the double bass on your voice there this morning,
man.
Eitan. We like it. We like it.
Serious business. Yeah.
It's quite early.
Well, listen, today's question is, I'm experiencing delays on a delivery that I'm expecting, so now what? So we'll be taking a look at the legal side of the impact of COVID-19 that it has had on the delivery service. So let's start off by examining what are the standard legal expectations when it comes to items being delivered. For example, what are the policies around how late a package can be or the company's obligation towards delivering the package to you no matter what, Eitan?
Okay, cool. So, delivery is like a central part of our commerce and contract, and we've seen this especially during the COVID pandemic. And our delivery drivers out there are actually the unsung heroes of our economy. So, depending on the nature of the transaction, your delivery often marks the final part of the transaction. Once that happens, it's all done. But there are no specific laws out there around timelines or pricing or delivery, expectations. It's rather up to the specific terms and conditions of whatever company you're ordering from to decide, what the rules are going to be. So if you want to understand the rules about your delivery, the timeline, quality, safety procedures, anything else like that, you need to check the terms of service on that company's website. and that will tell you everything you need to know.
And boy, haven't we been relying on delivery services now more than ever with COVID-19. We know the pandemic and the ensuing lockdown has had a massive effect on how these delivery services and policies operate, some improving, some being forced to improve and kind of evolve overnight, others being hindered. What has the effect been of the pandemic on our delivery services, do you think, from your perspective?
So, look, delivery is actually, delivery transactions are incredibly old. It's over 2,000 years old. They actually originate in Rome, in the Roman era. So it's a pretty old service. And it obviously, the pandemic has changed the nature of the contract and one of ordering things and receiving whatever you're paying for. So it hasn't changed that. But delivery, but the pandemic has had a change on some of the terms that the companies might be under. So, that might be under things like the delivery times, or the curfew might have affected how long you're going to have to wait for your package, or the overburden on delivery companies might mean you're waiting longer. So these things are be changing. And again, if you are a picky customer and you really want to know the details of your package arriving, you can check the company's terms of service on the website.
Read the small print.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, last week we also spoke about how getting compensated by your employer for getting infected with COVID-19 in the workplace is quite a difficult process. So does this change if you're a delivery employee and you catch COVID-19 while in the field?
Okay, so that's a really interesting question. I'm really glad we're all starting to interact with this. And so, just because you're an employee and not in a building, it doesn't mean that the normal rules relating to labor don't apply to you. So, a workplace can refer to an office building, but it can also refer to wherever you're sent to work, and that could be a scooter or a motorbike. So, regardless of the semantics, employees are entitled to equal rights, and therefore delivery drivers are entitled to the same rights as office-bound employees. Of course, skills will differ between offices, deliveries, and potentially more dangerous jobs, such as being a security guard, but that doesn't mean that an employer can put a delivery driver into an unreasonably dangerous situation. So still, the conditions for delivery still have to be within a reasonable safety level for people to be able to do that job legally.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't take away from the fact that we can spare a thought for our delivery guys, the men and women that have been keeping the country going while we've all been on lockdown. We're going to continue this discussion in just a moment. We'll be back in a moment figuring out, so now what, with our lawyer, Eitan Stern.
Thank you for staying with your Feel Good Breakfast Show. It is Expresso here on SABC3. Now, let's talk about small businesses. We love them, and we all know how important small businesses are to the economy. I mean, they are super important. And when you support them, you're also supporting the people in the community. Now, Visa's Where You Shop Matters campaign is doing its part with a number of initiatives designed to stimulate small businesses' growth across the country. Because when small businesses do well, here's the thing, so do their families, their employees, their suppliers, and their communities. And one small business owner who's making an impact is Claire Dupree from Honest Food. Claire, good morning. Welcome to Expresso.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
So good you having in studio, Claire. Now, I'm definitely excited about this one, especially being an enthusiast. Now, how did you exactly get into food, and what drew you to more of a natural approach to food?
I discovered my passion for food during my homemade classes in high school. We had to cook once a week, and all the boys would come and try and convince us to give them what we've made for the day for them to eat for lunch. But I had a phenomenal teacher, and she just ignited this passion in me. And I decided that that's what I wanted to do and focus on. I like to change people's perceptions in subtle ways of what healthy food is, where you can actually get your protein from, that you don't actually need meat, that, there are so many sugar substitutes. So it's just a challenge every day, and that's why I enjoy it so much.
But how do you think people's perceptions are changing these days towards food?
We've come to this realization that there is a massive link between what we eat and how we feel. And this industry has just boomed from that. And it's such an exciting space to be in. And people are also questioning their choices. And I think also during lockdown, we've all had a lot of time on our hands. So we've just become more conscious consumers, which is very cool.
Again, when it comes to COVID, how has it kind of impacted your business? And
just for the initial 5 weeks, And we opened as soon as we could. We put all the precautions in place. We were determined to get going and to hit the ground running. We also made use of all of the financial relief funds presented by government. We got some sponsorships and donations from our loyal customers. We've made sure that we keep a big hype on social media so that people don't forget about us, even if they aren't coming in. And then we've diversified our product offering. So we've got the kitchen, we've got the staff. Let's add more things to the menu. Let's put new brands in the kitchen and use it as a dark kitchen. And I think mostly my team and I have just been so positive that nothing can stand in our way, and we are determined to get through this.
I think there's no doubt about it, Claire, that small businesses have this incredible ability to connect people and really contribute to building communities. And that's why it's important to support them. But in your perspective, as a business owner, why do you think it's so important that people support local, especially during these times?
So there's a knock-on effect throughout the entire thing. If you support local, and especially local small businesses, the impact that you have in the long run on these families and these communities is, I don't think people realize how important it actually is. And I think now more than ever, we need the sense of community. We need each other more than anything. And we have the ability to keep our community going if we just shop consciously and make those choices and know where our money spend is going.
Definitely cannot disagree with that. I think we need each other. We need that community. And Claire, I think I'm going to be needing you because I'm planning to do a new diet change and create a more conscious lifestyle about myself. And you're definitely the person that I want to be in touch with. But for everybody else that is looking to get in touch and try and just create a more conscious lifestyle, how can they find you and where can they find you online?
They can find us at Honest Food Store on Facebook and Instagram. And I am, I'm on both those accounts. So if anyone has any questions either, or they need some assistance with a lifestyle change, I'm always on the account responding to those messages.
And lastly, before we let you go, Claire, there's so many people inspired during this time by people like you who really have braved this pandemic during this time and run their businesses as successfully as you have. For someone at home right now who's inspired and wants to start their own business, what advice do you have for them?
Follow your passion, and it really is so important because if you love what you do, it won't really feel like a job. Secondly, I can't stress this enough, you need some financial stability. You lose your sense of motivation and creativity when you're constantly worrying about money. So have some kind of financial backup before you start your journey, or an investor. And then lastly, perseverance. It's going to take so long before you start seeing profits. Don't let that defeat you. Just keep going and you'll make it happen.
Such a great message. Claire, you've been absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us. You are educating, you are providing something that provides a conscious way of living. And I just can't thank you enough for all the work that you're doing in your community as well. And for everybody else that's going to be supporting, we're looking forward to the year ahead indeed.
Thank you so much for having us on your show. We really appreciate being given this opportunity.
And that was Claire Dupree, of course, the owner of Honest Food Store. And if you're a small business owner, raise the profile of your small business by registering today at visa.co.za to feature your business on Visa's Small Business Directory. And you could win 15,000 Rand worth of digital advertising. Now that's big. Go out there and grab it.
No matter who you are or what you're looking for, it all begins with a choice.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show. You know what time it is when we get down to the office. And of course, just like we celebrate the new blue look from Clover Fresh Milk, the same quality, nutrition, premium and fresh milk that's one of a kind and unique. And we're about to freshen up your midweek with a unique workout to help you keep fit and of course, stay healthy. And this big blue ball looks like a whole lot of fun, of course. But don't be fooled by the looks, of course. You can see it's got an effective and efficient workout using the stability ball if you are using it in the correct way, and we're obviously going to show you how we do that. So our hashtag Wednesday workout this morning will include the stability ball, which will target certain muscles and challenge both your upper and lower body, and also uplift that blue mood that you might be feeling. Quickly, Adams, how are you doing this morning?
I'm all good. I'm excited. I'm having so much fun.
Yeah. You're going to have a lot more fun after this. It's going to be quite a challenging one, but I'm excited because I haven't trained with you in a while.
Yeah.
And I know you are always looking for new moves, and these are going to be exactly that. So pay attention, you guys at home, especially if you do have a ball like this. They are incredible. Even just using it as a tool to sit on is going to stimulate the core, is going to get the entire postural chain correct. As you can see. Challenge #1, guys, for all of you at home. If you've got one of these balls, see if you can at least sit on this thing before you attempt a workout. But let's get into it quickly, Adams. I see you are well acquainted with the blue ball already.
Yes.
Are you ready to do this?
We're just trying to get to know each other a little bit more for a fun workout. So now we are kind of used to one another.
Used to each other, all right? So guys, let's get rolling into our first exercise. We're going to start off with the upper body, as we mentioned, and we're going to use the ball to create instability and force our core to engage.
Okay.
And the beautiful part about the ball, #1, you can see mine is very stable. Kugle's is pretty flat. That's going to give her more stability. And of course, my big ball has less stability. So it's harder the more pumped up the ball is.
Okay.
So let's slide into our first movement. So I love this. As we go straight into it. We're doing a push-up stance.
I can also do that.
Yeah! Oh, guys, please don't try this. Oh, Kugel, I love you. Okay, so guys, we're into the push-up position. As you can see, the further forward I slide away from the ball, the harder it's going to make that push-up. And in this push-up position, we already are making sure that our stabilizers and our core is engaged.
Are your legs like close to one another?
Closer together is going to be more of a challenge. So Kugel, you are spot on. And what you're going to feel as you go down and up, a massive instability, like the legs want to sway out the way. So let's try to get our chest all the way to the ground now, elbows behind you, and then straight back up. Oh, wow, girl, that is beautiful stuff. Yeah! And one more time, let's go down, and then straight back up. You want to make sure that you are engaging your chest, squeezing those pecs together. And as you can see, Kugel's form is absolutely... I spoke too soon. I spoke too soon. No, Kugel, you're doing incredibly, guys. This ball is such a challenge. As you can see, it doesn't matter how much strength you have, you can always make this workout a little bit harder. All right, so moving from our upper body into those push-ups, you want to get about 12 reps in total before moving over to the next part of this workout, which is our posterior chain. So it's all the muscles behind our back. That's going to give us a good structure. It's going to give us a good posture, obviously increase our breathing, work on the glutes and everything else. So we're going to slide once again, the fun part. You're going to have your hands now on the ground as well as your feet, all right?
Oh,
so
the feet are also on the ground.
Yeah, so that's just going to kind of decompress your spine a little bit as well. So it's not arch, it's not taking too much pressure. Now the fun begins. We want to try to stay as stable as you can. So Kugel, your right arm and your left leg are going to lift up at the same time with beautiful control and stability. You got this. All right, everybody at home, crossing fingers for Kugel. Let's go for one rep, nice and high, straight up. Yeah, lovely stuff, girl. Let's try the other side now. Beautiful, guys. Oh, I'm loving it. You'll obviously feel a little bit of instability. The studio's going nuts for Kugel over here. She's doing incredibly, guys. As you can see, it is a challenge. It's very difficult to keep your stability, but the more you practice this, the more you're going to feel your core engage, as well as allow that core to be functional with the entire rest of your body, so you can use it in a proper environment. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling fine, but can I be honest with you? The first push-up is actually, I find it easier doing it on the ball than normally for some reason. Okay, even though I did 2 push-ups.
No, you're 100% right. 100% right. Yes, because what's happening is you need more effort to do this in terms of your entire body. So you're not just isolating the chest like you would in a normal exercise. The ball's increasing stability, which is forcing the core to work with your chest. So it becomes more functional.
Yeah.
How does that sound?
Sounds
put a pop. All right, guys. So last exercise, of course, we just hit the upper body. We're going to nail the legs now. And again, another fun stability exercise. So normally you have Bulgarian split squats on some sort of a bench. But what we're going to do is put our leg on the ball now, okay? And now, even myself, I struggle so much with balancing here. So Kukle, this is a great challenge for you and I to compete against each other. I don't know who's going to last.
I'm
but
definitely going to last.
Once you can figure out how to stand correctly, you want to engage your core, you want to have your leg on the ball, and now you want to force your leg to drive backwards, and your shin's going to slide along the ball. So you're actually going to work that glute in the front leg. All right, you ready for this?
Yes.
Slide as far back as you can. Make sure that knee doesn't go. Beautiful. Keep that form. Now we're going to climb back up. Use that glute. Use that glute. Yeah. Nice stuff, girl. All right, so you guys at home, keep trying this out. You're going to feel an incredible stimulation in this glute. Slide that leg behind you on the ball. You can see how I'm falling all over the show. I'm forcing those stabilizers. Now we're climbing back up and feel the burn in the glutes. How's that going?
I can do one more.
You got one more. Show the guys out there how we do it.
Yes. Never mind. That was a fail.
I'm actually impressed. As much as it looks like you're falling all over the show, this is exactly what we need to stimulate that core, and this is how these blue balls work your body. Now, of course, that is one way to chase away any blue mood, and while you're at it, refuel with a refreshing glass of Clover fresh milk. And as you keep working on yourself, who knows, maybe Clover might be the only one with a new fresh look.
You
enjoying that milk? Ah, yeah, I got it, man. Cheers, Kukle. To the rest of you guys out there, enjoy the stability. And
I'm
enjoy.
such a mess
It's such a mess. And enjoy the rest of it, guys.
Clover Fresh Milk is the #1 milk brand in SA. Made with love by Clover.
Oh, Kootlies. Well done, girl. Well done. It's tough out there, man. It's tough out on the balancing ball. It really is. But hopefully that inspired you or made you just laugh just a little bit. But I can see how inspired you've been this morning. We asked you about soup. And man, do people love their soup.
Yes,
I suppose
they do.
It stands to reason. It's been freezing cold lately. So a bit of soup goes a long way. It's the ultimate comfort food. But it seems like everyone's got their own little favorites kind of take on it.
Coming in.
Their little recipe. Do you want to kick us off?
Yes, absolutely. Joanna says, morning Expresso team, I love vegetable soup and roasted brood with the in love face. And also I love the fact that Chef Clem is smiling at the back of this picture because, I mean, Chef Clem and roasted brood and everything.
Bread. No, he just knows how much you and I are missing bread, and he's holding bread there going, look at that. Don't gloat with your bread.
Away.
And then Tommy Pambo saying, brown beans cooked with cow's bones, and then you eat it with papa. Cow's bones, like a bone marrow vibe.
Never had that, but would love to try that, Tommy. And then another one coming through, the last one actually, from Melanie saying, homemade chunky veg butter bean lamb soup.
Stoop.
Oh, it's like soup and stewed. Melanie, now you're speaking. And then it's ciabatta made by our resident baker. Now I might just want to make this for supper tonight. Melanie, if you do make for supper tonight, please take a picture and then send it to us so that we can also just see what we're missing out on, because that sounds so good.
Now I say this every day, that whatever we make in the kitchen is going to be my cheat thing for the weekend. This one is definitely going to be my cheat meal for the weekend. Chef Clem, make me something special, man. Inspire us.
Well, before we get cooking, Graham, I want to encourage you all at home to lend a helping hand to those in need during these very difficult times. Now, Woolies have partnered with Gift of the Givers with, of course, the aim of distributing 1 million meals to families in need through their Fill a Bag campaign. And each bag is filled with a balance of protein, there's fresh fruit and vegetables and other staples, as well as hygiene products. Now, if we all band together, we can help them reach their goal. And as little as 10 Rand would provide one person with 3 meals for the day. So to get involved, just scan the QR code on the screen with the SnapScan app on your phone, or you can use your very own banking app to donate whatever you can towards filling a bag. And remember to also encourage your family and your friends and your neighbors and your colleagues, your chat groups, get them all to do the same as well. Every little bit will make a big difference. But yes, we are in the kitchen to cook something delicious, and it is soup season. And of course, we're more than just okay with that. Today, Chef Clem is preparing a hearty tomato soup with delicious toasted cheese samis on the side as well. And this is a quick and easy lunch or even dinner option. And all you need to do is heat up the soup in the microwave and take it away once you have it. But you're going to be, of course, you're going to be fancy-fying it a little bit, aren't you, Chef Clem?
Well, I have to now. I was just going to snip the bag, put it in the pot, and walk away.
Done. Meal is ready.
It's done. It's done. But we're going to make it fancy, absolutely. This is kind of like an opportunity for you to like flex a bit in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It's a soup that's already been made, but how are you going to take it to
the next level?
So we're going to do that. So we're going with classic tomato. Like Woolies have got like a list of like iconic products. We said it's their tin roof ice cream. By far, it's their ribs, it's their soups. What else? All their Ayrshire products. It's amazing. Their Clement Gold.
Can we just? I mean, can we just really just talk about the hot cross buns, though?
The what?
The hot cross buns, eh?
And the fact that they keep it on shelf all year long. That's just understanding South Africa for you. Don't bring your hot cross buns out once a year.
You know what happened? You know what happened? Was it? I think it was the day before yesterday.
Tell me.
I'm just there, and then before my very eyes, chocolate hot cross bun. I'm like,
it's so good. It's so good. Thank you. Okay, so back to the soups.
Yes.
So what I love about these soups is the fact that the quality goes into every single prepared soup. I found the most delicious, authentic Thai soup, the tom yum and the tom kha soup, in the can, and then I tasted it, and I was like,
What? Tom yum.
You must check it out. Honestly, when you empty the can, you see all the lime leaves, the lemongrass, the chili, the garlic, the mushrooms.
What?
In a can?
That's amazing.
That's amazing. So that's exactly what they do. They focus on the ingredient. They cook it like you would at home. Like your mom did, like your aunt did, like you would, and then they put it in the bag.
Like they do with the aunties and the rusks.
Those aunties, saints. Same people that are, like other saints that are making these soups right now. So honestly, what you're gonna do, you're gonna do it justice, right? You're gonna do it justice.
Yeah.
So what you do is you get your soup on the go, you can heat it up. Microwave's good, pot sauce are good, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
So now what I want to do is I make a toasted cheese sandwich. Okay. But we're gonna be, because I mean, what better with a tomato soup than a toasted cheese sandwich?
It's brilliant.
So we're gonna make this. It's gonna be delicious. Get a little bit of oil in your pan, and the reason we're adding oil is because we're gonna actually toast it in butter, but butter burns very quickly.
Yes.
Now right now we can whip out the ghee.
Okay, because that is a very that doesn't there's less milk solids in the ghee, so it doesn't burn as easily.
Professor in the house. I like that. Yes. So cool. Okay. Get a nice amount of that oil in there, because you don't want it. You want it to like really toast in the oil. So I'm gonna hit it with 2 slices of ciabatta. I'm gonna get that going so long. So while I'm doing this, the bread's already gonna start toasting. I'm using my cheddar.
Cool.
The cheddar and the Gouda on promo right now, daily difference, so check it out.
Good stuff.
Get that. So you can be a little more generous with the cheese.
Right on top of it.
Right on top. And
you know
then,
I've just got to say, as a side note, the soup is so good. You can even, which I usually do at home when I'm really hungry and very quick, is we whip up the soup and then we go just toast and a little lick of butter. Just that.
Yeah.
You don't even need anything fancy because it's so flavorful and so delicious.
It's so flavorful. Honestly, we're not just playing. It's the business. It's real good.
Oh, you dropped the cheese.
But you see.
You weighed the cheese at.
It's fine. Is it a 10-second?
No, you can't do that.
Okay, no, I got extra cheese. So I'm gonna double cheese this one.
Okay,
so I've got the beautiful cheddar that's gonna give me that nice sharp flavor. A little bit of that malty malt coming through from the mozzarella. So that's gonna, I like the flavors. I like mixing cheeses. Go crazy. A little bit of blue cheese right now would be absolutely amazing.
What?
Yeah, go crazy. Then the top of a slice of bread.
Yes.
We're just gonna turn it over, get your spatula. Looking good. You want to make sure, the cheese is sticking together. Yes.
Oh my goodness.
That's looking good. But now I want to kind of step it up a little bit, right?
What you gonna do?
We're gonna get a little crazy right now.
What you gonna do?
I'm gonna take it out the pan.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Why? What's
I'm gonna take it out the
happening? What's
pan.
happening right now?
I'm gonna try something.
You're gonna try? Okay.
I'm not supposed to do this. No part of the script.
But.
Sprinkle the cheese.
He's going in with the cheese on the pan.
Sprinkle the cheese in the pan.
You're gonna make melted cheese and put it on top of them?
No, I'm gonna put it on. I'm going to put
the cheese is gonna melt on the, at the bottom.
We get so excited about soups, but honestly, it's amazing. By the way, I am on this one right now. Is this the Thai style? The heat
That's the hearty. That's the hearty home style.
Yeah, it's a hearty at home.
Yeah.
Also, that with a little bit of Tabasco. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Okay. If you like butternut soup, go out and try Woolies Curry sweet potato Thai style soup. If butternut soup is your main chick,
yeah,
you're about to find your new side chick. I'm telling you, that Thai soup will. It's so good. I just love the fact that there's no international travel right now with immediate effect, Uncle Cyril, but you can actually travel the world purely just on the soups that Woolies have on shelf. I mean, that's something right there.
I mean, what kind of passport do you need? The delicious passport.
Exactly. Your culinary passport is always valid.
That looks incredible.
That's just cheese crust. Listen to this. Are you hearing that, South Africa?
That's insane. That's the sound of delicious right there.
You make this, you are done. I mean, yes, you got to just give it a little bit of a
Hey, it's improv. It's not part of the script.
Use a non-stick pan to do this, but that cheese.
That's all. Look at that.
This one, look at that. Look at that. Okay.
That's insane.
Why do I get so excited for toasted cheese? Well, if you don't, I don't know.
Listen, toasted cheese was like the luxury for me. Like in high school, the tuck shop used to sell toasted cheese, but they used to make it in such a way that like at 9 o'clock during first break, for like $5.50, you'd get toasted cheese, and man, it was so good.
It's the simple things in life that make me happy, like a beautiful crown of cheese on a toasted cheese sandwich. It's got that little bit of hot pickles, a little bit of maple syrup, because apparently the sharpness, the cheddar with that sweetness of the maple, that with your soup.
Gotta get that soup in the bowl.
Gotta get the soup.
Starting to pop.
Oh, when it's bubbling nicely, let's go.
Hashtag grr.
Hashtag grr.
That should be it, yeah. KRR, grr. Look at that. My goodness.
What more?
Microgreens on top. Slice up your toasted cheese. Dip it in there with a spoonful in your mouth. Hashtag grr.
Soup has never been more sexy.
Listen.
Never.
Catch this.
You wear a suit like this when you eat the soup. You dress like this when you eat the soup. Oh, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
It's a successful soup. It's a... I'm eating soup tonight, baby. Check it out on our website, expressoshow.com. Thank you very much, Chef. Delicious. Grr. Are you tired of conference calls, connectivity problems, and need to go on site or be in the boardroom? Well, Mango are soaring the skies once again. As we navigate through this new normal, businesses need to recover, and Mango cares about business. For affordable and reliable business and essential travel, visit www.flymango.com. Go discover more. Go Mango. Book now. Terms and conditions apply.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked. We are going to continue now our discussion with lawyer and director at legalese.co.za, Eitan Stern, as we take a look at the legal side of the impact that COVID-19, the pandemic, has had on delivery services. And obviously, so many more people relying on. My mom, for instance, lives off delivery only now. She hasn't...
Oh, 100%.
You know, completely. And she's really good at adapting in that way. But so many people have been reliant on those delivery services. So obviously the game has changed quite dramatically. Eitan, welcome back.
Cool. All I can really think about is toasted cheese sandwiches right now.
I know, don't worry, you're not alone there, buddy. You're not alone.
What we were talking about.
And you can't even smell us, dude.
We're sitting here.
Yeah, feel for us.
I also want to be best friends with that chef.
You do. You really do want to be best friends with him.
A good one.
Don't worry about it. But listen, speaking about toasted cheese, I actually want to talk about food delivery services. You know, we can obviously visibly see that the precautions that are being taken by drivers, and we also encourage everyone out there to be safe about the collection of deliveries. But that being said, you know, who is liable if COVID-19 is caught by either the driver or the recipient?
Okay, so interesting question. Also one that lots of people are starting to with. So in our law, where liability lies where there's fault, so whoever's at fault is going to be liable. And this isn't just with COVID, but it's with all harm or damage. So if a driver does get infected, their employer could, in theory, be held liable for the damages, but it would need to be shown that that employer caused the harm either intentionally or negligently. So, and this would have to be a pretty nasty employer. If a recipient gets sick, so if you did order something and you get sick, then it could, and then if it can be shown that the driver is at fault, the driver could, in theory, be liable, or the employer could, in theory, be liable because of a rule known as vicarious liability, where the conduct of an employee is imposed on the employer. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about this because it's quite complex, maybe in another week. That all being said, this is quite theoretical because when it comes to COVID, you need to, one of the aspects for proving damages is that you would need to have proof that someone got sick from the driver. And this is just going to be very, very tough to do because of COVID. So I guess overall, what we all need to realize is that when we're ordering packages, going to restaurants, going to work, there is some aspect of risk involved because of COVID. And it's not the driver or the company's fault. It's the virus's fault. And that's the real bad guy. So it's something we should all remember.
And I think a lot of companies have been quite overt when dealing with any kind of delivery system now. There are so many messages saying, please, will you wear your mask? You can have a leave at the door option there. They do try to put themselves in the clear as much as possible. Maybe going a little bit off topic now, because we've been experiencing some pretty horrendous weather, some winds that have ripped up trees and turned over cars, literally. When we look at really horrible weather, what are the delivery agencies' policies when it comes to bad weather? Can a driver refuse to deliver, or does he get penalized for a late or damaged order when it comes to an act of God, if you will, in that sense?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. It's one I've been pondering as well. You're never sure whether, when it's raining, you should order more, Uber Eats or order more food or something because, maybe it's going to put drivers at risk. At the same time, if they're not working, if no one's ordering, they're not earning anything. So I'm not quite sure what thing to do is there. But legally speaking, this is going to differ from company to company. So it's hard to say as generally. But what I can tell you is that any employee may refuse to carry out an illegal instruction or one that's unreasonably dangerous. So if a driver thought he or she was going to be put into unreasonable danger by delivering an order, they could refuse to comply, and then they would be protected by South African labour law. And that really goes for all employees out there. If your employer is going to put you into an unreasonably dangerous situation, you can refuse to comply. But as far as I know, this hasn't been tested in South African law. So, but we're unsure of the answer. But since delivery is becoming so popular, I guess it's only a matter of time until the law is forced to interact with this question, and we will get an answer. But I don't exactly know when.
Yeah, I think just with every discussion that we've been having, Eitan, it's going to be almost like we're going to have to take stock again post-COVID-19 and say, okay, this is a COVID law, this is a normal law, because it really has changed the game completely. And thank you so much. As always, an absolute tome of all things legal. We really appreciate your time. You can now go online and order yourself that toasted cheese and that straw.
I'm going to try and make it, actually.
Yeah, no, do it, man. And tomato soup, you can't go wrong. But, buddy, always wonderful to connect with you. Thank you so much.
You guys as well. Cheers.
Now, we hope that if you are making online deliveries, that you're always taking into account the safety of both that delivery personnel, yourself, and everyone in your surroundings. Hey.
Yep, just wear your mask if you can, sanitize, always keep washing those hands. And as I said earlier, spare a thought for those guys working on the front line so we can get the stuff that we've ordered. We really do appreciate it.
So I'm chatting to Umalume Musa here. He's owned a small clothing factory for years now, and he's always inspired me with his success. But like a lot of businesses, this lockdown's hit him hard. So he spoke to his banker, and they've put together a tailor-made relief solution for him to help his business and his people get through this. Making your bank your business partner, that's a habit worth keeping.
Thank you very much for staying with your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso, here on SABC3. Now, here's a concept, a very simple concept at that. If you want to be good at something, you need to practice. And this same philosophy can be applied to money. Equip yourself with the right mindset, the right account, and enough self-discipline, and you can enable yourself to grow your savings. And here to get us on the right track, to help us form healthy habits with money, is Vanisha Palani, the Executive of Transactional Products from Nedbank.
Vanisha, great to have you with us. How are you today?
Good morning, and thank you for having me. I'm doing great this morning.
Excellent, excellent. Now, I once heard this quote that said something along the lines of, you don't become good with your money when you're rich, but rather you become rich by being good with your money. Now, how can we become good with our money?
Oh, I absolutely love that saying, and I couldn't agree with it more. At Nedbank, as money experts that do good, we believe that money well managed can make a huge difference in achieving your goals and dreams. And starting with good money habits is key to that. Really understanding how much you earn versus how much you spend is the key to this. And it seems super simple, but it's amazing how many people struggle with it. Really understanding where you get your money from, what you're spending it on, really thinking about what you spend that money on, and cutting back on the things that you don't need. Especially during lockdown, many of us are working from home, can't smoke, can't drink. It's a great opportunity to actually put that money away and really think about, do you really need to continue spending about that? Also, setting some goals is really important. And I'm not talking about huge goals. Start small, start simple, and really build it up so you have a sense of achievement. Really think about spending every time you do. Make sure you develop that as a money habit and keep it. It's great to do that and keep thinking about what you're spending, but also have a little bit of fun and enjoy yourself, but make sure it's for something worthwhile.
Well, we know that Nedbank has a really great savings account called the My Pocket account. How can this account help us stick to our budgets and our savings goals?
Well, this function or feature we have that's linked to our bank accounts is actually will help you do everything that I've shared. It will help. You can link up to 10 pockets to your bank account. You can name those pockets, which is really awesome. So you can name it my travel, my online course, if you want to save for an online course. It also has no fees and charges. And, I can't stress enough about how important it is to have a savings capability or savings account that doesn't have fees and charges, because it won't eat into your money. Also, looking for something with a really good interest rate, and My Pocket does give you a great rate for a savings account. So it means that you can grow the money that you save in that. It also helps you, as I've shared, you can name it. It also helps you in terms of keeping money away so that you don't spend it. So if you have debit orders that you need to service, make sure you open up a pocket, put your money in there and keep it safe so that, when you're going out to the shops or going out for a dinner or something, you don't actually spend from that. And you can ensure that you meet your obligations for the month. And like I said, every time you don't actually spend from your bank account, move it in. And we have the pockets that are linked digitally. It makes it really easy to move money from your bank account into those pockets.
Now, Vanisha, when it comes to any form of savings or investment, the question of accessibility to those funds is always up in the air. So can you access the money in the various pockets as you need it? How exactly does it work?
Well, the trick about savings is that your money that you save should be just a little bit harder to access. Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be something that you can easily walk up and, swipe a card to. Every time we buy those pairs of shoes and things like that, it will be just too easy to spend it from your savings account. So we've done very much the same within the My Pocket. We haven't linked a card to it. So every time you do need to access that money, you need to move it into your bank account. Mm-hmm. Now, we've made it so easy and so simple to do on our digital channels. It's really at the click of a button. So it isn't painful to actually access that money. But like I've said, it also makes you think about, do you really want to spend and do you really want to use that money in that account? So keeping it in there, making it easy to access, but not super simple and super easy to do. Mm-hmm. Make you think about it and just keep that money in there just a little bit longer and let it grow.
Lastly, with it being Savings Month, Venetia, do you have any financial wisdom that you can leave with us?
Start, times may feel tough, but start saving something, even if it's your first 10 rands. Every little bit helps. Start now. Choose the right bank account. So download the Nedbank Money app and open a Nedbank account if you don't have one already. Link your pockets, start naming them, start saving, and develop good money habits like that and keep those money habits going.
Excellent stuff. Thanks very much to you, Venetia Pilani, of course, Executive of Transactional Products from Nedbank. We always appreciate your time and expertise.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, of course, the Nedbank My Pocket Savings Account is a hassle-free money management feature that can be linked to any of your Nedbank transactional accounts. And it's super useful and such a great visual tool to help you budget and save your money. And we highly recommend that you check it out by visiting Nedbank Money and visit, of course, their app, the Nedbank Money app.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to it, your feel-good breakfast show. It is Expresso here on SABC3. We are live, and it's a beautiful Wednesday morning. Raul, you're smiling, and I'm guessing this is because you put Kuhle through her paces during the exercise.
Oh, so much fun, Tubbs. I think if you guys missed it, you missed such a ball of a time.
It must be your favorite thing to do, to torture us here. New equipment for it.
Don't call it torture, it's just uplifting and showing you new ways of moving your body, Tubbs.
So much more fun coming your way in the form of the Mzansi Youth Choir. But of course, gender-based violence conversation continues here on your Feel Good Breakfast show. Right now, though, it's time to find out what's happening in the news.
It's just gone 8 o'clock this morning. Let's take a look at the news headlines. On the national news front, a shipment of thousands of sheep could be leaving the Eastern Cape for the Middle East by early August. That could reopen an export opportunity, offering a massive positive impact on SA, farmers say. Now, the Red Meat Producers Organisation, Agri-SA, Agri-Northern Cape and Agri-Eastern Cape said government inspectors, as well as vets for the Red Meat Industry Forum, yesterday signed off on a ship and feedlot used by a Kuwaiti company. Last year, the SPCA took legal action over the controversial export of 57,000 sheep destined for the Middle East from an East London harbour. Now, in other news, a 93-year-old from Cape Town is among the latest people to recover from COVID-19 in the Western Cape, Premier Alan Winde has announced. Catherine Newman, a resident at Claremont Old Age Home, was one of the many inspiring stories of recoveries in the province, he said. Meanwhile, a Durban woman who has been reinfected with COVID-19. She tested positive in March, but after 2 weeks of isolation, her results came back negative. Now she has tested positive again. The South African Medical Research Council's Glenda Gray said the possibility of reinfection can't be ruled out. Taking a look at international headlines this morning, European Union leaders have struck a deal on a huge post-corona recovery package following 4 days of talks. It involves 750 billion euros in grants and loans to counter the impact of the pandemic in the 27-member bloc. Now, the talks saw a split between nations hardest hit by the virus and so-called frugal members concerned about costs. It's the largest joint borrowing ever agreed on by the EU summit, or the summit chairperson Charles Michel referred to it as a pivotal moment for Europe. Now, Egypt's parliament yesterday gave President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi the green light for possible military intervention in Libya by approving the deployment of armed forces abroad to fight, quote, terrorist groups and militias. Sisi earlier warned that Egypt would not stand idle if there was a threat to national security in Egypt and its western neighbor, Libya. Egypt, alongside the United Arab Emirates and Russia, backs fighters led by Eastern Commander General Khalifa Haftar, who abandoned an offensive on the capital last month after Turkey stepped up support for Tripoli. And now news of a toddler's miraculous escape. Dramatic video footage that has become available shows a two-year-old child clinging to an air conditioning unit outside a fourth-story apartment building in New York, then losing his grip and plunging downwards while somersaulting repeatedly. Now, the child had reportedly locked his grandmother out of their apartment and then clambered through a window, reports said. Now, as people on the pavement below watched in absolute horror, the toddler lost his grip on the air conditioner and his body flipped over several times in the air as he plummeted towards the ground. Thankfully, a man standing below was able to reach up and catch the falling child in his arms. The man then calmly laid him on his shoulder and consoled him as onlookers and neighbors gathered around to render assistance. And finally, taking another quick look at what's happening in the world of entertainment. After months of teasing, American rapper Nicki Minaj has finally announced that she's expecting her first child with her husband, music industry professional Kenneth Petty. Now, the pair got married back in October after a year of dating. In true Minaj fashion, the self-proclaimed Barbie made the announcement on Instagram by flaunting her baby bump adorned with an assortment of colorful outfits and simply stating in her caption, #Preggers. Nicki's fans, who are called Barbs, went into a frenzy searching for the truth in May when her responses to their questions on a Twitter Q&A about cravings and morning sickness clearly indicated that she was expecting. Now, while a due date and gender haven't been indicated as yet, Minaj is truly over the moon, writing, quote, "Love, marriage, baby carriage," overflowing with excitement and gratitude. Well, congratulations to the parents-to-be, and you can now feel free to insert any Nicki Minaj lyrics that you may deem appropriate. Well, that's the news for 8 o'clock right now. Let's take one last look at the sporting headlines. Here's Graham.
Thanks so much, Kat. Let's wrap up those headlines this morning. I think we expected a scathing retort, and we've got it. SARU CEO Yuri Roo yesterday addressed the media and said that SA Rugby is now certainly considering other options after New Zealand Rugby announced a new model for the Super Rugby competition, which excludes the South African teams and Argentina's Jaguares. The new tournament would likely only feature New Zealand and Australian sides. Roo also added that South Africa was not kicked out of Super Rugby, but rather that New Zealand kicked themselves out of the competition. Then on to football. Last night's Premier League action saw Manchester City cruise past relegation, threatened Watford 4-0, and Arsenal suffering a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Aston Villa at Villa Park. Raheem Sterling's double and goals by Phil Foden and Emerick Laporte, they helped City thrash the Hornets. And in the second encounter, a vital Trezeguet strike in the 27th minute that secured the win over the Gunners and helped Villa out of the bottom three as they leapfrog Watford and Bournemouth and leave that relegation zone for the first time since February this year. So there are going to be two Premier League fixtures on the cards this evening. Man United take on the Hammers at 7 p.m. and then a big clash. Liverpool up against Chelsea. That one kicking off at 9:15 tonight. Then returning to a big motorsport story this week, reigning MotoGP champion Marc Marquez underwent a successful surgery on a broken arm that was after crashing out in the season opener in Jerez in Spain on Sunday. The 8-time world champion will remain in hospital for up to 48 hours. Then he'll look to make his return to the sport in August. MotoGP will return to action this weekend with a second Spanish Grand Prix. That's a wrap of your sport for this Wednesday morning. Let's take one last look at the sky, see what the weather has in store for today.
We are 6 minutes into the final hour of the show. Here's a recap of our viewer sunrise pictures. Starting off with our very own Uncle Tabsy. He came through with the sunset video captured at Mully Point, reminding us to take a break and just unwind. Thank you, Uncle Tabsy. Charles took us to Creddock with this very bright sunrise picture. A cool to warm day for you, Creddock. Thank you so much, Charles. We went abroad with Michelle's sunrise picture today, taken in Somerset, a small town in southwest England. Thank you, Michelle, for sharing sharing this beautiful, beautiful picture with us. And lastly, Nobile reminded us of the serenity that comes with a sunrise. Thank you all for sharing those beautiful pictures with us. You too at home can join in on the exploration of our beautiful country with a sunrise picture from your hometown and share it on our Facebook page, Expresso Show SABC3. Right now for some interesting news for stargazers. This week marks a spectacular cosmic event when two meteor showers, the Delta Aquarids and the Perseids, will grace the night sky at the same time, creating spectacular displays. The Perseid meteor shower, widely considered to be the best meteor shower of the year because of the brightness and speed of the meteors, often leaves long wakes or trails of light and color behind, for making for a spectacular show. It's also one of the most prolific meteor showers, producing as many as 100 meteors per hour during its peak. The Delta Aquarids can be more difficult to see, especially if there's a moon of sorts in sight, but expect to spot up to 20 meteors per hour. Both showers are most visible between midnight and dawn. Now, pleasant conditions are expected today across the country, starting off at Polokwane at a maximum of 21 and a minimum of 4 degrees. Bombela 724 are your temperatures for the day. A partly cloudy day in Pretoria, temperatures ranging from 4 degrees, reaching a high of 22. Jozi Maboneng 120 are your temperatures. Mahikeng starts off the morning at 3 degrees, reaching a high of 23. Klerksdorp -1, reaching a peak of 20 today, and Kimberley 121. Bloemfontein 021. Richards Bay, it's a sunny day at a high of 25 and a low of 12 degrees. Pietermaritzburg, your morning temperature is 7, reaching a maximum temperature of 25. South Africa's Playground at Durban 11:23, Mtad 3:25, and East London 9 is your minimum for the day, reaching a high of 23. Cradock, it's a sunny day at a maximum of 23. Port Elizabeth 10:21 are your temperatures for namhlanje. George 9:21, it's a sunny day for you, George. Cape Town, do expect a lot of humidity today at a maximum of 21 and a minimum of 13. Worcester 8:24, and Sutherland 2 is your low, reaching a high of 21. And Uppington, your minimum temperature for the day is 5, reaching a maximum of 25. That was your 8 o'clock weather roundup. Remember, whichever part of the country you're in, whatever the weather, make sure to have yourselves a feel-good kind of day.
Oh, yes, indeed. Make sure to have yourself a feel-good type of day. Now, we know that we've had lockdown for weeks and weeks and weeks. In fact, I mean, it's been lots of months. We've lost count of the number of days, but in the hundreds of days. But in times like these, we turn to music for messages of hope, for messages of encouragement. And our national pride, the Mzansi Youth Choir, they have done it again, celebrating and, of course, saluting all of our frontline workers. We'll be chatting to them a bit later on about that.
That is later on in the show. And, of course, also coming up, we're chatting to Lucinda Evans about the responsibility that our youth has when it comes to gender-based violence. So much more to come in the show. Stay tuned for more.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Breakfast Show, Expresso right here on SABC3. As we have been saying the entire morning, it's day 100 and something, week 100 and something of lockdown.
It's day smash, yeah.
But we know that the lockdown has presented many challenges for South Africans, one of them being the surge in gender-based violence. Sure. Gender activist Lucinda Evans and founder of the Philisa Abafazi Bethu organization, which means Heal Our Women in isiXhosa, have been hard at work seeking to provide restoration and dignity to women and children of Lavender Hill. She does this through the safe house she provides for women and children running away from violent homes, and joins us this morning to share more. A very good morning to you, Lucinda. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. How are you?
Well, it's woos. Doing well, but it's woos in the field. I'm not going to say it's going to be easy because it is day 100 and whatever, because I also lost count. but it's going good. Thank you very much for asking.
Lucinda, first of all, thank you so much for doing what you're doing, for putting this out there as well so that other people can see and hear what you're doing, because, I mean, it's struggle. We're all struggling at the moment to identify what the most important conversation is to be having right now, but this might be that conversation. What questions do we need to be asking ourselves, specifically young men, because I believe that's who needs to be having this conversation right now, around violence against women? Where do we begin, and what subsequent changes in thinking and behavior need to happen? Where do we need to interject? How do we start this? Because we are screaming, begging for answers at this stage.
I think where we need to start is providing services for young men. In our field of gender-based violence, there's a lot of, all of us are doing different type of services to protect women and children. But we have to ask the question, do we equally provide the same services for young men? Young men that sometimes realize that they have a problem, realize that the challenges that they too face is of a magnitude that sometimes the only way how they can resolve the issues is through violence. And so some of the critical questions I ask myself as the head of Philisa Abafazi, I am soon to build a new family and women's center. I'm moving in this week to the Sullivan Sports Field. And I've changed my narrative a bit where I'm saying that I'm opening my women family center to young men in distress. Young men that realize that they have no way out as violence to resolve their problems, to come to us. And we want to work with other partners, with Sonke and other organizations that work with men to bring the services into our communities. You know, it was shocking in the last 60 days when we saw the spate of murders of women. But I particularly looked at how old were the women and how old were the perpetrators. And some of those perpetrators, alleged perpetrators, my apologies, were younger than 30, were 25, were 20, were 18, a 14-year-old in Makassar. And I asked the question, why? Why has our young men become so violent? What has happened in their lives when they were children? What did they see? What did they experience? And so the conversations we need to start, for me, and then I put my hand on my chest as a women leader that is out there advocating for the protection of our bodies and the vagina, is that can we start with having an open conversation about how do we make services available for young men? Can we start having the conversation and ask the churches, the mosque, the synagogues, places of worship where there are men that are the examples, youth clubs, can you redesign some of your programs that you have the conversations in your places of worship?
No,
the
completely.
churches and the mosque, and also at the traditional schools. So I have no idea what happens in traditional schools when young men goes, but can those elders start having this conversation about respecting your mother? Because it starts in the home, respecting your sister. And can we have the honest conversation with mothers that are protecting their sons, knowing that their sons are doing wrong. And so yesterday, somebody flagged on a Facebook page, not too far from where I live, a young man that smacked his girlfriend in the road. And the mother put a post on his Facebook page to call him out. And she publicly called him out. If you put something like that on Facebook, you publicly call him out. But, you know, the mom calling him out to what he did, and the response to that was that, you know, I wanted to have a conversation with the mom too, and ask her, you know, you saw your child going into a relationship where there were issues and issues of violence. It escalated to the physical point where he smacked her in the road. So at what point do we as mothers, you know, interject? We speak to our daughters about the kind of choices and relationships that they have. In terms of boyfriends that potentially way in the beginning show the signs of what we call jealousy. You may not be with other friends, you're just with me. Delete and block your friends that you have. And we know what these signs are. You are then being isolated from your social groups, from your family groups, because you're just mine and I want you for myself. And those are some of the signs that should flag to us as women, as girlfriends, as young women, that something is wrong. As a mother, I will not have my 14-year-old daughter have a relationship with a 28-year-old. And we find in these circumstances, we have 14, 15, 16-year-old girls dating 25 to 30-year-old men. Where do we start by interjecting in our daughters' lives and tell our daughters, you know, this is not how it's supposed to be. We need to have the conversation with this adult male in terms of what is your interest in my daughter? My daughter's only 14, you're 28.
No, for sure. I mean, we could probably devote the entire show, and maybe we are heading in that direction, and I'm so glad that so many more people are talking about this. I think the one thing that really is jumping out for me is I would imagine there are a lot of young women that are wanting this kind of resource to be able to talk to someone in your space who has a deeper level of understanding. How can people get more information about the work that you are doing, both from the side of supporting the work that you're doing so that you can get to a point where you can open more senses and be able to help more women? But for a woman needing help right now, what should she do and where can she go?
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make our emergency number available. We have a social worker that has the telephone, and our number is 076 270 3050. I also want to tell you that with building the new center, we've made a decision to build an additional emergency safe space for women and the LGBTI. And I'm needing to raise an additional 300,000 Rand to have the space available. We are in the process of moving to the Sullivan Sports Field in Steenberg. Some of our containers is already there. So if anybody could help us just to get that emergency safe space up, we'll appreciate it. But our emergency telephone number is available 24/7. It gets a person between two people. So if the social worker, she will manage during the day, and then at night there's somebody that does it after hours. Please get in contact with us.
All right, and we've got your
if you
details.
need somebody to talk to.
No, thank you so much. And we've got your details, Palisa Abafazi, up on our screen. We'll put them up on our social media platforms as well. I mean, you are so switched on, and I really do appreciate the time that you are taking to spread this message. So much of what you've said has already helped me grapple with things that I've really been struggling with for a long time. And where do we even begin within the media to begin this conversation? So I think we're going to bring you back on, I've no doubt, to hopefully talk about more success stories in this space. But Lucinda, thank you so much for the work that you are doing every single day, and for putting yourself out there to discuss this with us on the show. We really do appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.
These tough conversations truly need to be had. Gender-based violence is a pandemic we are only now truly starting to confront, but it's a pandemic we can defeat if we work together.
This is your feel-good breakfast show, Expresso on SABC3. Now, to climb the COVID-19 mountain range requires endless, immeasurable dedication, commitment, courage, and sacrifice from all healthcare workers, which is why it doesn't come as a surprise that Wouter Kellerman and the Mzansi Youth Choir paid tribute to them using the song, The Climb.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. I'm lost, I'm shaking. Yeah, uma fingerera,
Now, Wouter joins us now to tell us a little bit more. Wouter, great to see you. How are you today?
I'm very well, Katlego. Thank you. Very nice to chat to you.
Absolutely. Likewise. Now, of course, we're currently living in unprecedented times, and a positive boost is always much appreciated. So tell me about your collaboration with the Mzansi Youth Choir. How did that all come about in this regard?
Yes, we've actually collaborated before in live performances, and we've been wanting to do something together and put it out on YouTube and on Spotify and a proper song together. During this lockdown time was actually a perfect time to take that moment and create something also for a good cause.
Absolutely. And as you say, this isn't the first time that you've worked with the choir before, but certainly the first time under these kind of conditions. So how was it working with the Mzansi Youth Choir once again?
Oh, they're amazing. You know, these kids, these choristers are just so talented and so beautiful. So it's always a pleasure to work with them. But it was quite an epic journey because, you know, each chorister had to film themselves at home on their phones, and
wow.
And then we had all this footage, and it was quite a job to put it all together nicely. And fortunately, Tessa Ford Post volunteered, and they did the video for us, and we managed to get some footage from different sources. So people really worked together and to make this project happen.
Yeah, I mean, logistically, it must have been quite the challenge, but you pulled it off spectacularly. Now, this period has also been especially difficult for musicians out there. Tell me about how you've been able to keep your head above water.
Yes, you know, in this time, over the last few years, musicians all over the world have actually changed their models of working, because we don't make that much money from selling CDs anymore.
Yeah.
So we've focused our energies towards creating good shows and performing, and that's how I actually make most of my income. And now during this time, that's all gone, and it doesn't look like it's going to come back anytime soon. So it's been devastating for musicians, for the whole entertainment industry. But it's also an opportunity to take the time that you have and be creative and follow up on projects that you haven't had time to do. So I've been actually working flat out on new music, putting stuff out on YouTube and Spotify and Instagram, spending a bit more time on social media.
Well, that's amazing to hear that. And speaking of the music that you have already created, you recently received the news that your album, In a Different Light, was nominated in 5 categories at the Independent Music Awards in New York. I mean, that's incredible. You must be absolutely thrilled. What does this recognition mean to you?
Yes, I'm very, very excited about it. You know, the Independent Music Awards honor independent musicians, and I'm a very proud member of the independent musician, community. And they also, their awards are for quality rather than popularity. So for me, it means a lot. It's to get 5 nominations is just mind-blowing. Very, very grateful for it.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've achieved thus far, Wouter, and thanks for always making the time available to chat to us and clue us in on what you're busy with. You are an inspiration. We're proud to call you one of our own.
Thank you, Katlego. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
The wonderfully talented Wouter Kellerman, cluing us in on exactly what he's been getting up to during this lockdown period, and hopefully listening to some of the creative and music adventures that he's been on, the collaborations he's been involved in, has offered some sort of inspiration to you.
Where Wherever you may be, all Expresso prizes are delivered to you by Globe Flight, delivering smiles since 1998, 24/7, 365.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Happy birthday, a very happy birthday to you.
Oh yes, get the jiggy with it, yes. Oh yes, indeed, it's a time of the day. Again, we wish you, our loyal and loved viewers, a very happy birthday. And today you get to celebrate alongside Amanda Lamini, who turns 32 years old. Yay, mama. Now, Amanda was the captain of the national team between 2011 and 2013, and the 5th female football player to win 100 caps for South Africa in 2016. She's also the founder of the Amanda Lamini Girls Foundation, which aims to provide girls in the rural areas with basic needs. And for all the great things that you do, we wish you the happiest of birthdays, mama.
Happy birthday indeed. And now to all you beautiful faces out there, let's start off by wishing Ava a birthday and saying, I wish my grandmother Ava a very happy birthday. We love you to the moon and back from Movika and your family. Have a beautiful day. And now, next up, the birthdays are a new start, a fresh beginning, and a time to pursue new endeavors with new goals. Move forward with confidence and courage. Now, you are a very special person, and may today and all of your days be absolutely amazing. Happy 24th birthday, Shlubi, from Ward 9 members. Oh, Ward 9 members, sorry. Have an incredible one indeed.
Also, I just want to apologize. It's not Ava, it's Ava, my friend.
Oh, Ava, I do apologize.
Sorry.
Ava, have nothing but a magic day on your birthday.
It's all good, nothing but love. The next one reads, a blessed birthday to our miraculous son, Shiloh David. May our King Jesus Christ bless you with his divine wisdom and understanding. We love you dearly with much love from Daddy and Mommy. Happy birthday, Shiloh. And then to Mandisi, your birthday is the first day of another 365-day journey. Be the shining thread in the beautiful tapestry of the world to make this year the best ever. Beautiful. Enjoy the ride, Mandisi, from all your buddies.
Oh, such a beautiful message coming from his buddies there. And now Pat's celebrating a birthday. We wish a very special lady, Pat, a happy 63rd birthday. Thank you for being an awesome grandmother to our kids and for always being there for us. We're wishing you many more, and may God comfort you this birthday, as it's your first birthday alone due to the lockdown. And lots of love from your daughter-in-law, Sai Lisa, son Kuvashen, and Kaylin, and of course, Shaylin. Happy birthday to you, Pat. And now Rita's got another one coming up. It's a 53rd birthday to my mom, Rita. May you be blessed with all your heart's desires. We love you lots, and enjoy the magical day. And that is love from Sarita.
Oh, and then last but definitely not least, Leah Ashley also celebrates her birthday. It reads, we wish our cousin Leah Ashley Wilson a blessed first birthday. Oh, look at that face. We love and miss you. Cannot wait to see you again. Lots of hugs from Whitney and Nathan. Ben, I just want to cuddle those cheeks, everybody. But of course, if you'd like to send your loved one a birthday message, then do so by sending your birthday videos to 071 640 6551 or email your wishes to birthdays@cordova.tv. But right now, let's find out what's happening on the streets of social media.
Season is upon us. Well, we did ask you on Facebook this morning, what with it being soup season all over South Africa, what your favorite soup is. Chili nights obviously call for those tummy-filling, yummy soups, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone's got their favorite.
Eliana says, mornings, I love vegetable soup with fresh baked bread, soul food kind of stuff. Luther Are, good morning, my Expresso family. My favorite soup is fresh vegetables with brown bread. Oh, sounds good. Kerry Are, butternut soup with buttered bread, butter all over.
Yes, ma'am.
Michelle, good morning, Expresso fam. And everyone, I just love my samp and bean soup with chicken necks in. Yummy in my tummy.
Yeah.
What?
Love that. The chicken necks, I think it takes it to a whole new level.
Chicken necks.
Oh, love it.
Dikilani. And then when the soup liquid is done, and then you just left with the chicken necks, and you just
yeah. And if you're me, you are shredding that chicken neck.
But that's what I mean.
They don't go anywhere.
But I get it, there's a technique to it. You can't just shred the chicken neck. You gotta first get the meat from all around the bones. Then you suck the marrow out. Then make sure all the cartilage is gone.
Yeah.
Then you get in on the bones and then just...
even if it was sent to RCU, it wouldn't be resuscitated.
It's an art.
It's done. Well, thank you so much for those. Those are beautiful. There's more? There's more?
We gotta give Jolene a chance. She says she loves her split pea and bacon with homemade bread. That's her favorite way of enjoying some soup. Sopo man.
Yeah, more sopo.
Unati.
You have to suck the marrow out of the bone when you're eating anything with amatambo, and also just crunch on it until it turns into powder. Otherwise, you haven't eaten the meat.
Yeah, I feel you.
But you know what? The temperature is outside.
It's cold.
It's cold outside. But there's no need to worry, because we are going to be so warm inside with this hearty, spicy split pea soup, everybody. Yes, this dish is an all-time favorite here on the show, which we are giving a surprising and delicious twist to it. And here to show us how to make the scrumptious soup is the one, the only Chef Claire.
I like that. Can we do like a little jiggle every time I come in? Then I gotta like
Chef Claire.
Hey, I dig that. I like it. Thank you so much. So we're taking a split pea soup and we're gonna give it a bit of a twist. We're gonna give it a Thai twist, and I'm gonna do that by using a little bit of Thai curry paste. It's so simple. You don't need to go and make it. These are like an instant way to add so much flavor and spice to any soup, stew that we're doing today. Even making sauces out of these. It's amazing. It's instant flavor. Instant flavor.
Green curry.
Green curry. So in here I've got some oil already in the pan. All I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of toast. You want to toast the flavors that are in here. There's a lot of garlic, ginger, lemongrass, all these things that are in here, but you want to toast them and release those flavors, just like we do when we do normal spices and nuts. We toast them to bring out the flavor. So that's going in there, and it's so fragrant. As soon as it hits the oil,
there's just oil in the pan right now.
Just oil. And as soon as it hits the oil, you're going to smell it. It's amazing. It's so beautiful.
Wait, Chef Clem, I just need to confirm something with you. You know how we always chop our onions, chop our garlic, chop our ginger, whatever it may be, and put in the pot. Is this what you have replaced all of that labor with?
This guy over here.
That's the guy I'm talking about.
So if you can look over here, we've got our onions, we've got our carrots, and we got our split peas. Now split pea soup is like one of those soups that hugs you from the inside out. It like kind of breaks down and goes creamy and starchy, and that's what we're going to kind of play on today. And the fact that it's already in a soup mix means you don't need to be chopping all those carrots. You don't need to be chopping all the onions. Save the tears for like something else. This is convenience in a bag. So I'm going to amp up the flavor with a little bit of extra garlic. I love garlic.
Can I just say, it smells divine.
It does, eh? Like I said, we're traveling the world just through the soups from Woolies, and I love that. And it's all about trying and experimenting soups, getting in the kitchen, playing around with like different nuts and seeds and toppings. Like we toasted our cheese to create a bit of crunch. And it's all about that. So I retract my statement. It's not about main chicken, side chick, butternut soup, We don't condone cheating with immediate effect. We don't condone that.
Not here on the show.
When it comes to cooking, it's all about just playing around, tasting things, like just getting your palate used to different flavors and getting creative in the kitchen. That's what it's all about.
And talking about getting creative in the kitchen, Jolene says that she puts bacon in her soup.
Yeah, bacon and split pea soup. It's like a classic. It's like a pea and ham soup. That you can totally do that. So instead of the bacon, we're taking that out. We're going spicy instead of introducing that smoke. And instead of using cream or something to give it that extra creamy texture with like a normal pea and ham soup, we're gonna accentuate the Thai flavors and use coconut milk instead.
Okay,
just to bring it through. It's so easy. It's so easy.
And also this recipe works for vegetarians as well.
That's what I love about it. Whether you're vegan, vegetarian, a carnivore of note, you're gonna absolutely love soups because you just make it so wholesome and so delicious by playing around with what your dietary requirements are and making it your own. Just like Woolies have done with their soups, and it's all about the ingredients. They've kind of like catered to all palates and all cuisines and all diets with these soups, which I love that. I love that so much. Okay, so you can smell it. I added the bag of veggies in there already. I'm gonna turn up the heat a little bit. So we're gonna add our chicken stock. I just love cooking with split peas in general. It just breaks down and it becomes so hearty and so thick. It's one of those ingredients that just keeps you fuller for longer. I love it so much.
That's what I think a lot of people love about soup, is that it's easy to make, it's quick to make, and also it's just truly filling. Chef Clem, I saw a red circle on that packet. Is that for sale? Are there sales there at Woolies currently?
Well, you're currently saving if you're buying two.
Okay.
So I mean, check it out in Daily Difference. So you're gonna get two for 50 Rand. So what you save, what do you do with the money that you save from Daily Difference? Tell me quickly.
Of course, come on.
Tell me about this. Tell it to the camera so they can know exactly what to do when they save.
We have to gift of the givers.
Gift of the givers. What you have to do, go and get
gift of
that.
the givers, donate, scan the QR code on the screen right now, darling. If you don't have SnapScan, you can definitely also use your banking app to just donate at least 10 Rand, as we've mentioned.
We know the difference it makes.
It makes a whole lot of difference. One person can be fed with 3 meals just for 10 Rand. And something really special.
Tell me.
We're just 280,000 meals away from reaching our 1 million meal goal.
Can you believe that? Yes.
Come on.
It's absolutely amazing. I get so excited when we come together to make a difference. And I mean, it's been proven how much difference we can actually make. That one weekend when someone just came in, boom, an extra million. It wasn't one person, there were quite a few people. That one weekend when we just jumped 1 million Rand.
Imagine.
Yeah, we can do it again.
100%.
We can do it again. Okay.
100%.
So this soup, you're gonna cook until the split peas start breaking down and then getting into the soup, going delicious, creamy, like what we want it. I'm gonna do some up. It's so good. And the spices, earlier they mentioned a stoop. You know what a stoop is? A stoop is half soup, half stew. And that's kind of like another type of soup that you get. And this is a stoop. So
that's a stew.
Yeah, it's half stew, half soup, because it's still got that liquidy essence of soup, but the chunkiness of a good stew.
The contents as well. That's very true.
Yeah. So I'm toasting some sunflower seeds, some pumpkin seeds. You can add a bit of spice to that if you want a bit of extra garlic. This is going to be our crouton, and we're using nuts and seeds because I mean, just like getting creative again with the different flavors that you use. So once it starts popping, like it is now, we just do a little sprinkle. And you could use some sprinkle. You could use some coriander if you want. We just got some beautiful shoots over here.
Just to make it look extra pretty.
Extra pretty. In Cape Town, we'd be charging 800 Rand for that right now. So, I mean, but that's how easy it is to recreate like these amazing dishes at home using Woolies soups. The goodness is in the bag. It is soup season now. Get in the kitchen, get creative, get serving this up. Your family's gonna love you. They're gonna love the food.
Truly, goodness is in the bag. So we've received quite a number of messages on our Facebook page. This one comes from Simone Rousseau. She says, morning! Something I can't afford to buy, but Woolies has the best butternut soup. I die for butternut soup.
Well, now she can, because it's on sale.
Exactly.
Yes. Go and get it. Go and get it.
We always got you covered.
On the comment of the chicken necks, yes. Chicken necks give you so much flavor in your soups and in your stocks. And for me, the best part is sitting with that bone.
Oh, 100%.
And just getting all that meat out of there. You've got to.
Reflecting on your life.
Oh, really? Life decisions?
Just like how well you've been doing in life, or where you want to just change things in life, and where you want to achieve yourself in life.
Wow.
And okay, moving on.
Food will do that to you. Food will do that to you. Oh my goodness.
100%. The last comment comes from Ashadia. She says split pea soup with lamb and a super cheesy garlicky focaccia.
All right, so we got this heat and eat garlic bread over here, which I'm serving with this soup over here. So yes, this will totally go really well with it. I'm talking about like pea and ham, absolutely. But the thing is, if you don't eat pork, pea and lamb,
Delish.
so good, so
Especially
good.
if it's like soft and tender and juicy and everything.
Give me the fatty bit of lamb as well.
Really? Are you that person?
Yes.
Oh wow.
No, not you?
No.
You like the lean, you like the meat.
Yes, I like.
No.
I need to get into the meat. Chef Clem, you've made all of this look super easy, but if you at home have missed a simple step, here's a recap. Super easy.
I get it. Huh? What?
What's better than a sugar-coated, deliciously crispy golden brown donut and 100% Arabica beans brewed to perfection? Treat yourself and warm up your morning with a little sweetness from Mac Cafe with the all-new mini donut and cappuccino offer. A little lovin' doesn't have to cost a lot. Great coffee, simple.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back, you beautiful people. Yeah, just in time for some more entertainment ahead of the closing of Expresso Morning Show for this Wednesday morning. It's time for us to take a look at those movies. We're back with JP Sebastian, who earlier brought us some of the latest movie trailers with blockbuster promise. So it's only fair he gets, to share his favorites, of course, fresh, tiny indie movie trailers as well. But first, let's take a look. I'll have a chat to JP about Black is King, the big one, the most topical one at the moment. I have to just say, JP, because I'll never forgive myself for not complimenting you. I like your hairstyle, the side bang. You look like you're about to ask for the manager. Huh?
Okay, I suppose it's topical. You can be BLM.
Who runs the show around here? Anyway, Black is King. Beyonce, tell us more.
Peace, everyone. I'm out. Black is King. So you must be very excited.
I am.
You can see everyone that how far can you reach from there? Like, what's a good slap from Tabiso? Because I'll be peaceful.
You're safe
good.
there.
Obviously, the extended trailer has been released. I think that a lot of African folks, ourselves included, surprise, surprise, we're African, will be excited that it's been released next week, if I'm not mistaken, the 1st of August.
31st.
Well, I think 31st stateside.
Globally, yes.
1st of August, irrespective. So it is pretty marvelous to look at. The visuals are striking, as people say. And it's reminiscent for, if you're nerdy about film, stuff like Terrence Malick, Iñárritu, Birdman type stuff. And definitely, obviously, Sembene and other great, African giants, mostly from the Senegalese guys, in fact. So it's now a lot more clear that there's a story to the thing. The first trailer that we got was very much just mosaics, flash sort of scenes of these very striking sort of images. And here's the point where I start to get a bit worried, because this is the moment where the young boy is almost in the elephant graveyard sort of the Lion King. And we know that we've been told that there have been ties to the Lion King, and he says, "I laugh in the face of danger." In the trailer. Fair enough. Black is Prince, at least over there, Cat. So I, along with a bunch of other people, and obviously until we've seen it, you're only going to be able to say more. It's a good conversation start, I'm sure. But I have preliminary worries about what people have been referring to as the Wakandification of Africa.
And African stories, I see.
Like the thing is, obviously I'm going to be suspicious at the outset about billionaires and corporations putting on a happy face and all that kind of stuff. And even in the trailer, you don't see faces that look like, if you're trying to tell something that is sort of an archetypal African story, and you have bad guys in there. None of them look like King Leopold. None of them look like, Cecil Rhodes.
Well, the nice thing about this is that there's been a lot of consultation with local sort of African storytellers. I mean, we're seeing a lot of actors on there, a lot of the directors that she's collaborating with.
Hiru's Nigerian.
You know what I mean?
Nigerian. So and the thing is, no movie's obviously going to get the story perfect, especially if you're going to try and be the African story.
Yes.
It's all a discourse. It's all a discussion, and we're getting there. And but if the visuals are anything to go by, at least they've tick that box.
Want to check it out. Out on the 1st of August here in South Africa. Then you've got Bloody Nose, Empty Pockets. Tell us about that.
So now we get to talk about the tiny, smaller ones. Sundance Festival was had this year pre-lockdown, and this was a documentary that knocked the socks off of a lot of people. So it is quite the opposite from the grandiose thing that we just saw, set in a documentary, by the way. A dive bar at the end of Las Vegas, which is going to see its last day. So all of the locals, all the regulars gather to tell stories about the bar that they've spent years in, where they've made this family, this very loose sort of family. It's not necessarily just a fly-on-the-wall experience, though, apparently, and this is typical, obviously, of a bar culture. People start to inject their own stories where you doubt the size of the story and the truth of the story and all that kind of stuff. So it's not just sort of like this distant spectators type documentary. Apparently it starts to twist and wind in an interesting way, and this juxtaposition between glossy Las Vegas buildings and this dive bar that's seen the end of its days at the time of 2016 when it was shot, when a lot of things are seen the end of days. It makes for quite something that is small and has a lot of heart, but at the same time has a large, profound story possibly to tell about the future to come.
Stray?
Stray is something that I'm looking forward to, definitely. Previously similar, and not by the same people, surprisingly enough, there was a movie called Kedi, which was about stray cats in Istanbul, the capital of Turkey. Now we've got the dog story, or a dogumentary, if you will. It is gorgeous.
Documentary.
Yes. So 3 dogs were followed by the director, Elizabeth Loesch, who also edited it. And they're the protagonists, so there's no dialogue necessarily. And the story is told about street life, about being a stray dog, and also Syrian refugees in Istanbul through the eyes of our 4-legged friends, these dogs without masters, these free sort of dogs, I suppose, who have brushes with what we deem civilization, and on the other hand, the people who I suppose similar to that dive bar I was just talking about are on the outskirts of town and who are totally marginalized. It looks really, really moving. Well, and if 4 legs can humanize the plight of refugees, then maybe, this is what you need to see too. Look at that.
It looks like it's going to pull the heartstrings, this one. JP, you're amazing, man. Thank you so much for this. Let us know which one of those trailers caught your attention. Which ones are you looking forward to checking out when they do come out? And of course, you can connect with us on our Facebook page. Expresso Morning Show, SABC3. JP, Sebastian, as always, thank you.
Do I get a slap?
Let me show you the manager. Come.
Okay.
All right, now, what's better than coming home after a very long day at work than kicking off your shoes and enjoying an Oma Rusk? Well, nothing. Actually, nothing is better than that. That's why we've asked you to send us your photos of you enjoying an Oma Rusk after work. And this week, the 3 best photos will receive a coffee plunger and Oma Rusk hamper with $500. The ultimate combo, really.
Yeah, man. And we have a shared appreciation for our plunger coffee.
Absolutely.
We dig it, man. So the competition still open up until 11 a.m. tomorrow. But as usual, we like to share some of our favorite entries so far because we've had so many great ones. First up, we've got Tiana van der Rede, who sent us this pic, and it says, "I love snacking on my Oma Rusks after work whilst I make my dinner." Hey? Even if you don't have a hand to spare, you still got to get it, man. Still got to do it.
Look, Ma, no hands.
And there's nothing wrong with snacking while you're preparing dinner. Although, are you going to be hungry enough to eat dinner though once you've eaten half the box of Omas? I don't know.
Doesn't really matter. Our next photo is from Nash Roman, and he says, "Nothing beats coming home after a long day at work and putting your feet up in the shed, listening to music and enjoying your favorite Oma Rusk." We love it.
That's got man cave vibes all over it. Why are you going home and hiding in your shed? You're like, I'm just going to go for us, just have a moment of peace and quiet.
Listen, Nash has got some serious tools.
That is a man shed right there.
That is like, I'm busy constructing a castle.
Yeah.
I don't know, that's amazing, Nash.
He is a capable man, modern man. I absolutely love that. Man. Then last but certainly not least, I think we can all relate to Nonhlanhla and Glovo, who sent us this photo. It says, "Coming home to a house filled with laundry and kids and homework, and luckily I have my heavenly dip first." You see, she needs a shed so she can hide away there from the kids and the laundry and everything else and just get a moment of peace and quiet.
Those unicorns look jealous.
Yeah.
To be honest. They're like, give me.
I love that. Get home, unicorns on the feet. Oma Rusk, sorted.
Well, thanks very much to everyone who's entered so far, but remember that you still stand a chance of winning because the competition closes tomorrow at 11 a.m. So make sure that you enter on either our Expresso Facebook page or our Twitter page by sending us a photo of you dipping an Oma after work. And this week, you stand a chance of winning one of 3 coffee plungers and Oma Rusk hampers valued at $500. So make sure that you get entering. Remember, the T's and C's that apply can be found on our website, expressoshow.com.
With Oma Rusks, it's always dipping time. From the first thing in the morning right through to that midnight snack in bed. What is your favorite dipping time? Imagine a land where the sun shines all year over unspoilt landscapes, open spaces and pure air revitalizing body and soul. Imagine crystal clear water teeming with marine life. Imagine wild beasts roaming the bush with pride. Imagine friendly people filled with the spirit of Ubuntu welcoming you to explore this magical land, the birth and resting place of Madiba. Wamkelekile in the Eastern Cape, a province that is yours to explore.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. As we enter the final stanza of the show, it seems like this week has thrown many opportunities for us to pause and really take cognizance of how far we have come as a country, but also very tragically has brought about the passing of so many icons, and this certainly fits the bill.
Absolutely. Breaking news that we just received a couple of minutes ago. In fact, President Cyril Ramaphosa tweeted about it as well, the tragic passing of Ntate Andrew Mlangeni, of course, struggle stalwart and the last remaining Rivonia trialist in the end of an era. It was reported that he was hospitalized on Tuesday, and unfortunately he has passed. And in a statement, President Cyril Ramaphosa said, the passing of Andrew Mokete Mlangeni signifies the end of a generational history and places our future squarely in our hands. And with this, we'd like to send our heartfelt condolences, of course, to his family and friends, and thank them for the sacrifices they made in lending him to the country.
Yeah, and helping him get to that point too.
Exactly. So very, very sad news, tragic news. But of course, with these images that we see, of course, the image of the four of them there with Ntate Madiba and the Rivonia trial maybe just has come to an end with the sad news.
But take a moment to remember the sacrifices made by people to get us to this point. Just never ever forget that what price has been paid by so many.
And and more than that, to hold on to that legacy and to make sure that we do it justice.
Fight for it now, yeah.
Day in, day out, so that their sacrifices are not made in vain.
Thank you, boys, so much for taking the opportunity just to relay that message to the rest of South Africa. But as well, earlier on, we caught up with South African flautist Wouter Kerleman, who spoke about how lockdown has affected the Mzansi Youth Choir and how they are still able to create magical music while social distancing.
Now, their latest collaboration is a cover from Miley Cyrus, The Climb. Check it out.
I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming, but there's a voice inside my head saying you'll never reach it. I'm lost, I'm shaking. Keep the faith. Gotta keep trying. Gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle. Sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there. Ain't about what's waiting on the other side.
time to end off the day. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Make someone smile. Bye, guys.
Never forget it.
Expresso Show, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.